Hey, what's going on, everybody? And thanks for joining us again. We are live. And the topic of the day, the powers that be are finally forcing the Women's National Basketball Association to confront nature and a question they've avoided forever. Some would say it's simple. Others are saying it's so complex you could never define it. But we ask the question, and the answer is forced. What is a woman? That and a whole lot more on today's episode. But before we get into the WNBA and the slurry of controversies that surround it, I've been waiting for you to come back, Will, because for those that have listened for quite some time, you know that we like to start off our episodes with updates.
Yeah, Missy.
And I've got one big if we're going to be doing an episode where we're going to be ruffling some feathers and upsetting the powers that be, we might as well start hot. Okay. Because the people that are going to be offended about the WNBA conversation are definitely going to be upset about the conversation that follows this update. And I've been sitting on it for you to finally come back. I'm sure you've been itching. You're dying. You're curious to know what the heck has friend of the show, studio favorite, Betsy DeMoss, Big DeMoss. What is Big DeMoss up to? For those that don't know, Detroit rapper.
Who the fuck been helping me? I'm the vision and I'm sweet. I can see it in my raps. I can do it in my sleep. I'm the Pierce to the Bible. I'm the one they want to idol. I'm the heavy set, yay. I'm the fat campaign. I'm the juicy Lil Wayne. I'm the neighborhood Pac. I'm these bitches' favorite caption. Why my shit don't flop. I be making shit happen for the bitches that's laughing. I smack a bitch straight. I smack the hate away. Anybody in my way, on my daddy it's a problem. When you see me carry weight, why you don't say it was a problem? Making hits is not a problem. Losing weight is not a problem. If I went broke today, getting this money ain't no problem, nigga.
You know, how do I get 6 guys?
I don't know. It was pretty good.
Pretty good. But for those that don't know, Big DeMoss, she's a rapper out of Detroit, and she's the one that sued her Lyft driver because this poor immigrant Uber Lyft driver's like, my car literally cannot sustain you. She sued. There was some sort of settlement, and the guy lost his ability to drive. But she was raising headlines or attention again because there was a clip going viral of her at one of the Detroit clubs getting jiggy with it, getting down in more ways than one.
Ooh.
Timbo.
And her forklift right.
You know, but that's rude of you to say, because what you don't realize is it's all eye of the beholder. It's your perspective. When she goes to the gym, she feels skinny.
Like my body right now is like my mind don't know that I'm this big.
Well,
My mind does not know that I'm this big. So I be feeling like I can do everything. So when I walk in the gym,
you are not blind.
I feel like I'm fit. Or like if I'm
That is not what fit feels like.
trying to do
Fluffy takes offense to that comment.
Pardon my language, but she really does look like Fat Bastard.
certain shit, I feel like I can do it. And then I be like, damn, I can't do this. But in my head, I'm like, damn, I can do that. So I'm gonna walk over there. And I be going in the gym in front of all those people, 500 pounds in shorts.
Doubt it.
No shirt. Well, I have on a sports bra, but you know.
You should.
But I don't know.
All jokes aside, I think she would really benefit from doing like Water aerobics, is that what they're called?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, it's
think
a
that'd
start.
Yeah, I think that would
Really,
actually-
just any movement at all. You going on a podcast and selling the story of going to the gym lands on no one.
Well, I think water aerobics would be good on the joints at first. I'm sure like a treadmill would probably be pretty rough at first. Like after a
Any
while,
movement,
you know?
any movement
Yeah.
makes a drastic difference. The amount you have to eat to stay ahead of this dang thing, like there
Oh, the
has to
amount of
be at
calories
least
a day,
multiple
yeah.
pizzas a day
Yeah.
to keep ahead of this. Like I'm telling you, just eating like a normal diet for the day, there's just 3 meals, not exceeding like even I'll say 1,000 calories. I bet cuts her caloric intake in a quarter.
Yeah.
Which you would drastically see a difference.
Yeah.
Drastically.
Yeah.
And you selling us the BS that you're moving in any fashion is fooling nobody for the folks that move, even just the slightest.
There's a part of me that feels bad. Like seeing it
Mm.
and the delusion of not accepting the reality
Yes.
that's there. Like I feel bad in a way, but then at the same time, I feel bad for the Lyft driver.
That's the biggest one.
know.
You sued a Lyft driver who had a sense of logic.
It'd be one thing if like she was vlogging herself going to the gym and
Good.
trying to show off the weight loss journey. I can respect that. Sure. No, that's what it's for. But there's no evidence of that other than a conversation.
But they get convicted. They get trapped.
Yeah.
Look at Lizzo. Lizzo
Yeah.
kept that charade up for quite a long
Quite
time.
quite some time.
I could go back to 2020, the weekend the pandemic hit. I was in DC and I made the argument on the flagship podcast, not our live show, how she has to be eating, Lizzo has to be eating so much to stay ahead of her weight because she just had started a tour. And it's like, and the dialogue at the time was her backup dancer, I think it was suing her for
That's one,
body shaming.
Yeah.
And, what's the irony of the, publicly known big celebrity getting on her background dancers for not being able to physically perform as the job requires. And that dialogue sparked the consideration where it's like, Lizzo's going to have a problem when your identity is this and your whole brand is defined by this. And now you are traveling the country, which already limits your ability to just like run through Pizza Hut a few times a day. Like, sorry, we're on the run. There's not a Pizza Hut in sight. It's like, well, pull over to this McDonald's. The bus driver's only doing that so many times. So one, your regular routine is limited by the travel schedule, but even more so, you are moving, you are rehearsing, you can't eat while you're performing. So even just like from 6 o'clock to 12 o'clock PM, 12 o'clock AM when you close in the evening, you've already limited yourself while doing exercise.
Yes.
So the closing window of your evening is going to force you
To eat.
into a better healthy lifestyle.
Right.
And she was inevitably exactly as predicted. Now she's skinnier.
Yeah, she's.
Now, we're not going to say she's skinny yet,
She's
but
lost
I'm
weight.
far from like criticize. She's doing great. She's looking
down to
good.
a healthy looking weight.
Yes.
That's the best
And
way to
only getting healthier. And now she has to wrestle the Lizzo, like her words, her dialogue, her perspective, her new outlook on health has to combat the words of Lizzo in 2019.
Mhm.
So big boss DeMoss is going to have the same problem where it's like,
I feel like it's going to be a worse problem. I don't think Lizzo was that big.
you're right. Well, yeah, her moving at all. Well,
what?
what's the guy on the couch with the breathing tubes?
Dave Blunt's.
Yeah, she's going to be like Dave Blunt's, where she ain't moving around on this stage. She's going to get some like big, like chaperone pink pony. It'll be like this big giant unicorn she rides on or something. Who knows? It'll be some stage prop.
It'll be a rhino.
It-
It'd have to be.
Probably. It would be like, funny if it's like a water buoy or just something.
yeah.
Just something.
Make it something
Lean into it.
Yeah, lean in. Make it ridiculous.
Yes.
Like, I would appreciate that.
Exactly.
You're like, they get the bit. They understand the bit. They're detrimental to their health for the bit. I
Yes.
appreciate that.
A whale. Ride out on a whale. Just sit on a giant. Kanye's on the world. You are on a whale. Lean into it. But anyway, that all being said, I don't think she's moving. I think they're going to get her a prop that it's like the big boss to Moss throne. And she just, I'm from Detroit and I could lose weight if I wanted. That was in the freestyle. If you missed that, her words, not mine.
Yeah, why would you put that in the freestyle?
Because deep down, we're all like, I don't want them talking about it. I don't want them looking at it. But what you do know is that's all we're looking at and talking about. Doug, pay attention.
Even her. She's talking about it too. Oh.
Well, so anyway, she was on Nelk Boys today, like literally just this week. And even Drake's a fan. He a fan.
Wow, I know you.
How are you?
Oh.
Yeah, you're a rapper. You're from Detroit. Yeah, of course. What's up? How are you? Yeah, how you feeling? You look nice.
Where are you from?
What?
Detroit. Yeah. Awesome.
So we're close. In case we fall in love, we're close.
She was smart to wear
man.
black.
I be on your Instagram. Don't you know, man?
How you know that?
Because I know everything.
You know me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice of you to say. That's still a silhouette. One heck of a silhouette. For the folks that just streamed the episode and you're just listening to us, use your imagination.
That is quite a build.
That's a lot of peculiar lumps in places most don't.
Yeah.
But that's her truth, baby cakes.
That is her truth, and I'm a horrible person for laughing at it.
You at least you know. Well, anyway, I've just been sitting on the Big Boss to Moss club dancing for a while, and I've been eager for you to get back so we could get her updates in.
I'm glad she was most recently in something then too.
Yeah, right? I mean, hey, she's big stuff. She's famous.
She is big stuff.
I'm a fan. Why would you do that?
I don't know. Like, what do you want me to do?
It's called a layup. You can't lay it up like that.
I'm trying to be so nice to this woman I don't know.
I appreciate everybody that hung in for the 12 minutes so we could get to the heart of today's episode. The WNBA, the Women's National Basketball Association, being forced to confront a question most, kind of already thought we had covered, but man, in the world of liberal diversity, they've been stuck and trapped in a corner. Before we get into the question of what is a woman, there was controversy that kind of sparked last week off, and it was we're going to go to Jack Mack. I would go through all the clips, but it's in a nice, concise report.
Front of the show.
We're in front of the show. We're going to click it to Jack Mack, who shows the assault on Sophie Cunningham.
Cunningham was assaulted on the basketball court today, and then the woman who assaulted her, DeJounte Carrington, immediately went on Threads and tweeted out white privilege at Indiana Fever. Here's a look at the flagrant 2 that got DeJounte kicked out of the game, which is the most flagrant 2 foul I've ever seen in my life. She wound up. She didn't even go for the ball. She hit Sophie Cunningham in the head. It is the most obvious flagrant 2 in the history of flagrant 2s. All right? And yeah, I forgot to crop out the Grubhub notification. Don't be mean in the comments. John goes, Thread says white privilege. The WNBA is hilarious. It's unbelievable. They give us headlines every single day. Yesterday, not even 24 hours ago, Enes Kanter declared for the WNBA draft.
We're going to get to that.
And it's already old news. DeJounte was just involved in a situation where she exposed her ex for cheating on her with rookies on the team that her ex was on, Alyssa Smith. It's the funniest league in the world.
This league. One of a kind.
She assaulted Sophie Cunningham and then went on Threads and said white privilege. In any league, that is a flagrant 2.
Well,
any league.
I've got some thoughts, but first, do you think there's any room for debate here?
No, it's a flagrant 2.
Right.
It's such a flagrant 2.
Not to mention, even if we're forced in our biases, which form our perspectives and the lens at which we see things. And so even for the compromised that need to find a way to see this as racism, it is laughable that you can watch someone get rocked across the face and be like, yeah, she was protected.
Yeah.
Like she had the benefit of the doubt in a league where like the white women are clearly targeted.
Yes.
I don't know how anybody who is white could give the WNBA any attention until they outwardly address this. Because at a certain point, that is the demographic promulgating their whole revenue. And, you know, we're going to get to all of that. But like Caitlin Clark, who is the face of the league, has no spine in that. Like, I get you have to share a locker room with these people. So you got to like really toe the line lightly. But at a certain point, as far as protecting a woman's league or watching your teammate get rocked across the face or you constantly getting an unfair balance, like the muted on the court screaming at the ref, you know, come on, that's not a fifth foul. It's like, okay, that is not the same as when you go to the press conference and you're like, yeah, I mean, I get it. And I leave it to the league and the administration to sort it out. It's like, you're the face of the league. You either hold a position or you don't. And as far as this goes, it is across the board a one-sided, unfair balance to the league.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not the biggest WNBA viewer.
Oh, man, you seem like quite a viewer.
I've maybe watched a period in my life. I don't know why Caitlin Clark at this point hasn't said anything in regards to it. You're playing it a little bit too safe now. Or maybe she's just planning to do 5-6 years in this league, make as much money as she can and dip.
Yeah, that could be.
And I wouldn't blame her.
No.
This league is something that's for years has wanted attention on them. And the instant it got attention, they're like, God, the light's too bright. The light's too bright. I've never seen that. You would never see an NBA player get a flagrant 2 like that and then immediately go to Twitter and say white privilege.
Right.
And tag the team.
Right.
And tag the team. They just want to do that.
Well, and then when it becomes a protected perspective,
right,
now it is a reflection of the league. It is definitive of their intentions, their agenda, and how are you supposed to show up the next day? And I don't know. It's not affecting the locker room. That's the interesting part. Yeah. Is like black players that are on the court watching this happen to their white players are coming to their defense. They are like, this is crazy. And mainly because for the sake of competition, like I can't have my best guard with a bloody nose. So you watch the players on the court come to a physical defense. But when it comes to the social defense, like an actual statement, an acknowledgement of where we're at and the blatant targeting that is protected by the league, crickets. Yeah. You cannot meld me with the trash because I go out of my way to elevate and make clear where the trash class is versus having some sembling of principle.
Yeah. And then the higher ups in the WNBA, they have zero idea how to handle this. They have not a clue what to do.
Or it's an intentional.
Or they're letting it go intentionally.
Because that's what it feels like to me.
Yeah.
I mean,
the single conversation I've had with a woman about the WNBA, and somehow it's our fault, and every controversy in the women's league is a social topic. I'm not going to act surprised that almost goes hand in hand with one another. But when it comes to the men's league, it is about the game. Who's winning, who's losing, and then there's this quiet little discussion about sports betting in the background having an effect with Vegas, which isn't going to go away because there are legitimate claims in that regard. When it comes to WNBA, I couldn't tell you what team's good. I couldn't tell you what team's bad. I can tell you every social conversation happening in that league right now, and it's awful. It's awful. It's just a bunch of garbage.
Nailed it. Honestly, I can't even add anything to it. Perfectly said. And the biggest piece to your point is like to parrot the strongest contention you raised, which is you only get to have this conversation with men because it's even more ignored by women.
Oh, they don't care.
Women don't care about sports, let alone specifically the one that is catered to that. They'd rather watch Love Island. Like Brittany Griner isn't on Love Island. So guess what? Your neighborhood 22-year-old doesn't know a thing about it either. So for the demographic that should be most socially compelled, like most controlling the dialogue, they're totally disinterested because just the sports avenue alone is a lane that isn't total. Yeah, they might be interested, but man, are they way more interested again on Love Island or whatever else is,
Just any program that they like. I couldn't tell you if the state of play of the current basketball is good at the WNBA or if it's gotten better in the past year.
I will say that it is gotten better, significantly better, which again, your sport quality has only been enhanced in the last 2 years.
Yeah. And I don't hear about that.
No,
Don't hear about it.
because we hate her.
Yes.
We hate her out of blind prejudice.
Mm.
And like, again, Sophie Cunningham, she is not the Caitlin Clark.
No.
She is not the Steph Curry of this league.
From my understanding, she's a role guard player.
Yes,
That's it.
a very strong role guard player, but that's it. She plays her role and she's strong in her role. She has a huge stage. And I think a lot of it is envy. I mean, she's gorgeous. Not let alone look at the player that's been there for 3, 4, 5 years longer. And she walks in with t-shirts and being, impressed upon by the president, who is an asshole, but nonetheless, national recognition.
Right.
There is severe hate. That's what's controlling this. They don't care that there's more eyeballs. The pace and level of play has been heightened, and we're growing the league. There's more teams. Cleveland just announced their team name is the Sirens, and everybody's like, woo, 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 woo.
And they had a really good rollout.
Yeah.
Like they did a really good presentation for the new expansion team being added to Cleveland.
And yet you're all still pissed.
Yes.
That's a woman thing.
And
there,
the
I
thing
said
is,
it.
the issue that higher ups in the WNBA have zero ability to control the players. They have zero ability to control the players because the players would rather not discuss the state of play and rather talk about these social issues. Whereas if you go to the NBA, which is a star-driven league, they just want to get their money. They want to flaunt it. They want to go dunk. They want to try and win a championship. Like, it's very that's kind of the state of things. And then you go to, the NFL, that's what it's like too. You go to baseball, that's what it's like too. That's what they're playing for, not playing for these social causes. I wish I should have sent you the clip. Colin Cowherd had a great conversation regarding Caitlin Clark, and this isn't exactly on the same topic, but similar. Another social controversy that the WNBA is going for. Megyn Kelly called out Caitlin Clark, saying she's not saying enough about the Sophie Cunningham controversy that's kind of happened, which I'm sure we're going to get into.
Yeah.
And Colin Cowherd kind of nailed it. We've kind of backtracked from before. It used to be, hey, don't say shut up and dribble to him. And now we're kind of reverting backwards where it's like, no, shut up and dribble. She's a guard for the Indiana Fever. I want her to score upwards of 30 points a game and win a game. I don't need to hear the social topics of the WNBA, which I've never really heard of until in recent years. And now it's always social controversy. Right.
You did remind me amongst the flurry of clips. I did have that pinned, but I've neglected to pull for today's episode.
It's a longer clip.
It is. But again, he does a great point of advocating that position where it's like, no, she doesn't have to do any of that. And I wanted that balance because I think the majority of the dialogue has been pushing her to get involved. Yes. But let's get into probably the biggest of the controversies stemming out of the WNBA. As Will had said, there's all these social controversies, but nobody's talking about the game. I would say the largest one coming out of this week is the, let's say, resurrection of a movie classic. The WNBA has their own Joanna Man. And if you don't remember from 2002, this was a great movie.
Not even the Clippers.
And if he wants to play ball again, he's got only one option: to play as a woman.
What?
I'm here.
Joanna Man.
Joanna Man? Joanna Man.
Joanna Man.
Yes, Joanna Man.
Whatever.
No one's gonna believe you're a woman.
You did. You kind of created me. You're my agent.
You're Frankenstein.
I don't want to get pulled for getting in trouble for playing the whole thing, but it is funny. And freedom of information or fair use doctrine, buzz off YouTube. This is a reference to kind of a window in time. 24 years ago, it is a comedic premise to an entire movie that a man would dress as a woman, play in the WNBA because he gets kicked out of the NBA, and the whole one, It's a full-blown comedy.
Right.
The absurdity of it is this man living this double life who is a straight guy, but playing the WNBA. And when getting caught, the whole concept of getting caught, there was no social dialogue. Who knows? I would love to know what the book definition of what a woman was in the WNBA handbook back in 2002 was.
I know too, yeah.
Because clearly it changed by 2015. Or was it always that? I believe not. Because you wouldn't have the premise of the show when he gets found out, or movie, when he gets found out, now he's ineligible. He can't play any longer. Well, then clearly the concept then was clear. Then somewhere it got murky, and we're right back to where we're at. Now, I was explaining to you earlier today, and someone walked in my office. We didn't get to completely conclude where I was getting at it. I'm not going to exhaust it to the largest degree, but I was explaining back in like 2015, 2016, when Hillary Clinton started to run for president. That's when like the PC culture became like a social law. It like really, like you're going to lose your job if you don't toe the line. Like you're going to lose all your social credit score, and your friends and neighbors and family, they'll hate you if you don't bow to the PC gods. That's the first time it really became controlling. And I say that because at that time, right, 2018, now I start a podcast, and I'm sitting here, I've been saying since the dawn of time, all it takes is somebody to call their bluff. And the reality of this is we're sitting here idle, waiting for somebody to be a true social warrior for good, truth, and justice, call their bluff, and force their hand to acknowledge what a real woman is. You, me, and Doug can't do that. The conversation of why we need to have women's sports versus men's sports and a separation of the two has always revolved around, like, you know, my sister, she used to get offended because she was making it seem like I thought my team was better. It's like, no. I can't beat Hope Solo in a soccer game.
Right.
I can't beat, I'm not going to say Brittany Griner because that's a bro. I can't beat Sophie Cunningham in a basketball game. I'm talking about if we combined the leagues, the best of the women and the best, there are no women playing because they don't beat the best of the men. They definitely beat me, Will, and Doug, but they don't beat LeBron. Yeah. So I'm sitting here idle, waiting for that social warrior to call their bluff. Well, it can't just be anybody, right? Like, no matter how compelled Tucker Carlson may get, this is one bluff he'll never get to call.
Right.
It takes an honest cantor to come in here and go, all right, I've watched for 10 years, this bullshit snowball way too far. It's gotten out of hand, and I'm ready to call your bluff. Today, you define what a woman is.
It's official. I just declared for the 2027 WNBA draft in April. Join me in this journey.
Join me on this journey.
Cantor Freedom decided he's going to throw his hat into the WNBA.
The WNBA does not ban men who identify as women right now from playing in the league.
He would dominate the WNBA without batting an eyelash.
The #1 prospect in the history of the WNBA.
So there you go. He officially commits. Then this whole social program only gets worse for them. It continues to snowball. Enter in Royce White, which in my opinion, an even stronger competitor. I mean, holy cow.
Well, you know, it's just astounding that the WNBA can't define the W in the name. And I think we're going through a very necessary conversation about who's actually eligible to play in some of these professional sports leagues, I guess on both sides of the gender spectrum. My goal is to help elevate the WNBA. I think the ticket prices and the attendance, will soar. I think the audience, the live audience will increase. And I think ultimately it's good for the game. It's going to help evolve the game. I mean, who would argue that, a player like myself or an Enes Kanter, or, in the future, maybe even, I don't know, a LeBron James, after he expires in the NBA, maybe he wakes up one day and realizes he's a woman as well. You know, who could
love
argue
that.
that
Love
wouldn't
that
make the women's game better?
So,
well said.
Real quick, that's how LeBron could extend his career even longer. Like,
Me and Bronny are going to play on the same team in Indiana, baby. I'm also picking an all-star team in the WNBA. That's how I do. I do want to get to, but Royce White, you know, he faced some challenges. People are like, this is just a social bluff. You know, this is taking advantage of a compromised community. And I need to remind you.
Wait, what? What does that mean?
You know, this is a victim. We'll go with that. A victim community, victimized community, and you're just exploiting them. But might I remind you, you are to believe all women.
My fear of flying really wasn't a fear of flying. It was the transgender trapped inside of me, caged inside of me, that gave me an aversion to small spaces. I think there are plenty of people out there who have
that makes perfect
a
sense.
transgender trapped deep down inside of them, and so they think they're
every one of you.
claustrophobic.
No. Every one of you do. Let's just be.
Yeah, they think they're claustrophobic.
Tongue-in-cheek smile going.
Not really claustrophobic. It's the transgender.
Will, do you
that's
have a
trapped.
little transgender stuck inside of you?
Not for playing basketball, man. Can't fix.
I have a big boss to Moss size transgender stuck inside me. But I do want to get to some of the clips we have stemming from that. We do have to believe all women, of course. However, Sophie Cunningham was like, come on, we need to preserve spaces for women who enjoy sports and high-level competition. And that caused another stir of backlash against her because she's just the white devil. So here's Sophie Cunningham kind of supporting those remarks.
Yeah, I said what I said. I think it's kind of common sense, and I think I'll always believe in that. I think it's really important to protect children, and that's little girls.
We're gonna get in trouble for
in that
music.
category, and so I stand on what I said. And
I see you, Sophie Cunningham.
I see you, Sophie Cunningham. Oh no, why'd we get him in there?
You ruined the clip.
But as I acknowledged, Caitlin Clark had been taking some shots as well because she just isn't taking a stand on this whole thing. And I actually am going to be able to include the Colin Coward position. However, first, I just want to show a press release stemming out of this week that raised some of the criticism against Caitlin Clark, and we'll get your thoughts on it. Jump into the comments, let me know.
I think for us, it's not really a discussion we really have in our locker room. I think it's for leagues and the governing bodies to work with their athletes to find solutions, but our focus is on basketball, and that's what we talk about and how we can get wins, and obviously we didn't do that tonight, so we need to find an area to improve in that way.
Do you have any, reaction to the
most franchise player response you want?
we'll go over to
Yes.
the Zoom.
Yeah.
We'll start with
No,
Chloe.
ultimately, doesn't ruffle feathers. Just I want to focus on basketball.
And Will, you raise a good point that you can't live in two camps.
Right.
You can't say shut up and dribble and then be like, bitch, talk. Come on. You got some thoughts? We want to hear them. But
get mad when they don't speak.
It is funny if you're going to have, a national debate about a women's national basketball team where the question is, what is a woman? Of course, Matt Walsh has to enter the dialogue. And Matt Walsh's position was Caitlin Clark might be the biggest coward in the history of sports. She refused to say anything about the anti-white racism she has been subjected to since coming into the league. She punts on the trans question, which is the easiest question you could ever be asked. No spine. But with that consideration, I do want to balance it with Colin Coward, who kind of comes to Caitlin Clark's defense, kind of as Will was alluding, hey, maybe she doesn't have to take kind of such an egregious position. If you can bear with me for a quick second. I thought I did throw it in here.
Just take your time.
There it is. Yes. All right. So here again is Colin Cowherd. What's his show again? The
Herd.
The Herd. That's right.
This is on his podcast, the Herd podcast.
Yes. Gosh. There we go. Colin Cowherd.
Sophie Cunningham had an opinion about trans athletes last week. And, predictably, that's a hot button topic. Got a lot of pushback.
Shouldn't be.
By the way, her opinion is one, according to polls, that over 50% of Americans agree with. But be that as it may, Caitlin Clark had no interest diving in when asked about the same topic.
Not really a discussion we really have in our locker room. I think it's for leagues and the governing bodies to work with their athletes to find solutions, but our focus is on basketball, and that's what we talk about and how we can get wins, and obviously we didn't do that tonight, so need to find an area to improve in that way.
Do you have any, reaction?
I mean, very political
answer for you.
Yeah,
I'm good with that, and I'm good with Sophie. I'm good with both. It's a free country. Megyn Kelly's a very popular provocateur, podcaster, and she called her a coward for not having an opinion. So I don't know exactly what courage looks like. I can't necessarily define it. I've always thought cops, firemen, and military personnel that put their life on the line to protect me and my family, that probably cracks the top 1 or 2. I don't think political opinions crack my top 10. I think believing that political comments are courageous is a misdiagnosis of expertise. Listen, I don't ask my general contractor to fix my cavities, and I don't ask my dentist to tile my bathroom. I don't know why we demand
that is great.
That our athletes, we don't do this with Bobby Flay. We don't do it with Gordon Ramsay. Could you have an opinion on tariffs? We don't ask Bill Maher or Ben Shapiro. Could you dissect a zone defense? But there's something about athletes. And by the way, if you're an athlete, you can't win. LeBron and Aaron Rodgers dip their toe in the pool with politics. They get crushed. Michael Jordan and Tiger Woods said, nah, pass. They get crushed. Yeah. So where's the win? My take is Caitlin owes nobody in the media an assist for a game she didn't choose to play.
Great
Politics is divisive. It is a Shark Tank. I've often warned people in my industry, sports is fun. Politics is awful. And it's interesting, for about 3 days during the midterms and about 3 days during our election for a president, you can have it. You can have it after that. So I don't know Megyn Kelly's definition of courage, cops, firemen, military, probably my top 3. Leaning in, I mean, let's be honest about politics. People always say, keep politics out of sports. That's not true. You like politics when you agree with it, right?
It's true.
I don't think that's courage to be provocative and get people to say things that I can feed my audience, whether it's left-leaning or a right-leaning audience. But what is it about athletes who are obsessed, who have these incredibly refined skills where they've gone a mile deep on specific traits, shooting a ball, throwing a football, using a 6-iron, serving a tennis ball. They're great at it. It's taken hours of focus. Sometimes athletes, not a criticism or reality, are a bit lopsided. I don't look for athletes for political acumen. I really don't. And I don't believe in shut up and dribble, but I also don't believe in speak up and dribble for everybody. If you choose sportscaster or athlete or chef to have a strong political opinion, it is up to you. I'd warn you it's divisive. People now debate when they lose elections if they're rigged when it appears they're not. So it's where's the win for an athlete?
Yeah. I want to at least get to that question. Where do you stand on shut up and dribble? I mean, he makes compelling points every which way you dissect it.
Mine is I agreed with this point. You could do it Sophie's way or you could do it Caitlin's way. If you're going to pick either one, stick to it. So Caitlin going out there and doing the very professional franchise player, doesn't want to dip her toes in it. She's totally allowed to do that, and I encourage her to do that. If Sophie wants to speak up, she's allowed to speak up. I have issues with the Megyn Kelly and Matt Walsh's, and I'm only bringing those two up because they're just the two that were brought up. If Caitlin Clark came out in favor of or against Sophie's criticism, Matt Walsh would still call her a coward. Her not speaking up, he calls her a coward. If he spoke in his favor, he'd be like, she's super brave and all that.
Yeah.
It's one of those, there's only one battle he wanted to hear. He didn't hear
Bias affirming.
Bias affirming. They just want the bias affirming because they know these athletes reach out to kids. Kids look up to them. It's an easier avenue to kind of dip into. And the reality of the world is Caitlin Clark's really good at shooting a basketball, and that's what she wants to do.
Right.
That's fine with it. If she wants to express her opinion, she is more than welcome to. She doesn't want to, and I just don't want outside sources to be forcing these athletes to talk on things they don't want to talk about. Aaron Rodgers and LeBron James wanted to get involved with it. Now they get hammered for it, like Colin said. LeBron, the biggest indicator of getting hammered on these things. I always think of him taking that screen cap and of that cop when he said that girl and said, "You're next." And it's like, this is the danger when you get in and you don't know what you're talking about.
Yes.
So I don't have an issue with, I agree with Colin. You could shut up and dribble, or you could speak up if you want to, but you can't demand them, then the ones that just want to shut up and dribble, to speak. And when you start doing that, you don't lose me on your argument. I just kind of go, okay, you just want to affirm your bias any way you can.
Right. Well, and let's be real. Shut up and dribble becomes a piece of the dialogue. And when it happens, full transparency, admitting my concession or, making the appropriate concessions. I get on the bandwagon because LeBron starts doing ignoramus stuff like that, where not only are you getting yourself involved in the arena, but you're uneducated on it. This is a high school boy who literally pretends to read, talking about very sophisticated topics that take years and years of education and political science understanding. And he can just jump in because he has a platform larger than any person could dream of. Just sitting on the toilet, he throws out a few characters, on Twitter to hundreds of millions of people.
But his kids at his school can't pass math.
Yeah, well, there you go. So again, yes. Do I jump on that bandwagon like shut up and dribble? Initially, yes. But when really, truly pressed on the topic, I do inevitably land where Colin and your position kind of purport, where I think it's a free country. We all have the First Amendment. And so where you are educated on it and confident in your position, ready to battle it in the free marketplace of ideas, then you're welcome to jump in. I don't tell Aaron Rodgers, shut up and throw a ball, where, last 15% of that stuff I think is totally schizophrenic. But I also go, hey man, 85% of it I kind of agree with, and he's been vindicated for. Yeah. Let the guy have his victory lap on ESPN on dunking on Dr. Fauci. You took the criticism of holding a position during a world pandemic when YouTube is censoring. Like we covered it all last week. But then you're vindicated when science, resurfaces like an albatross from the ashes. And so you look at Aaron Rodgers and you go, you're allowed to have your victory lap. I'd love for the Buffalo Bills kid whose heart popped probably from a vaccine to maybe say a word, but I'm sure he was bought to shut the hell up too. Or it's a clone. I didn't say that out loud, but I think everybody should be allowed to involve themselves in the dialogue. The key to that, though, is LeBron, you're not free from the consequences of your speech. Right. So Myles Garrett, you could take that knee, and I will have a plate of nachos in my lap in Kemp's living room, and I'll never forget it. Yeah. You could stop saying it. You and your Asian girlfriend can fly off to Japan. But you did it. You said it. When you looked at the fans and blamed them for their position on Deshaun, I get to hold it against you. Right. Nick Chubb, he probably had some opinions about bad Browns fans, and yet we want to build a statue of him. Yeah. There's the difference. So, yes, you have the freedom of speech, but you don't have the freedom of consequences. And so, Sophie Cunningham, kudos to her for holding a position and willing to support it in the battle of the free marketplace of ideas. But then, and again, I'm allowed to make this implication because it is an underlying context to no speech. In a world where Caitlin Clark doesn't step in, the acknowledgement is, I'm not fit to have this conversation.
Right.
Or I'm paid to not be fit to have this conversation. But nonetheless, I'm not fit to have this conversation. Therefore, don't be asking for it in the future. When we start having these real conversations, like you acknowledge, and it's just you, your guy friends, and maybe teachers and the coaches at your local school, gym teachers, if it's just us having the conversation, then don't go looking to her for other insights because she's made it clear, I'm not educated on these things. Otherwise, she should be involving herself. I don't think it's cowardice. I think it's strategic, and acknowledge people for their strategy. Don't make it definitive, but the implication is there.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
The beauty of Royce White and Enes Kanter. What?
Enes Kanter.
Enes Kanter. The beauty of the whole thing is it forced the WNBA to convene and ask the age-old, well, I guess just the half-century-old question, what is a woman?
I would say even decade, century.
I was going to say decade, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, that's what I meant to reference, half a decade. I'm not even giving them that. We really didn't even start taking this conversation serious till we started realizing, like, wait, you're defending the diddlers in the school? Like, wait, we're letting them get closer? You want penis surgery books in the middle school? Okay, now we have to talk about that. So the WNBA goes, oh shit, we're about to have a flock of alpha males dominate the WNBA. We are going to have an A league and a B league of men dunking on each other. It's literally going to be the young guys, and then they go and retire and play in the old man league.
No, it's going to basically be the G League. Everyone that didn't make it up into the NBA goes to there.
No, but I do think a 45-year-old Royce White still probably beats some 20-year-old that didn't get picked up by the league. Like, if you're not...
Wait, which league? The NBA?
What he just said, it'd become a G League.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm saying a 40-year-old like Royce White is still beating the 20-year-old that couldn't make it in the NBA. Yeah. So you're going to watch become a senior league of high-profile, good NBA players taking over the WNBA. And I want to circle back to the acknowledgement I made earlier, which is we had to sit around waiting for somebody of that skill level to call this bluff. It took like 15 years. But here we are, and now it's a waterfall. Like, oh shit, we got to run to the boardroom because next April is going to be ugly. It's going to be like, Doug, sing it for us. It's going to be like Game of Thrones.
Wieners.
I had no idea where you're going with that, but that was good too, Doug.
Because we had this conversation over the weekend.
I was like, that was a good cue.
Wiener.
Yeah, I mean,
Park did it.
I'm always just going to stand on the stance of I just blame the higher ups in the WNBA
right.
for not getting a hold of any of this early on.
Well, so the beauty of it is they're forced to convene. And so we're reporting today, yesterday they were convening. It came out today that what did they decide? What is a woman? How are we defining this bitch, literally and figuratively? And the reality is they're going with a gene test. So here is...
Really?
So
good for them. Good for them.
Well, I want to go to Coco Gauff as she responds to the WNBA's decision today.
Hi, Coco. The WTA recently said it's going to give gender tests.
Is she a player?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, Coco. The WTA recently said it's going to give gender tests to the players on tour. What's your impression of that? What do you feel about it? And what did the WTA do to prepare you guys for what's to come on that?
Yeah. I mean, as far as I guess with that. I mean, I know it's been something that's been talked about a while, but I've talked to a couple other players, and a lot of them didn't find out until the press release. So I do think that's something that could have been more transparent amongst like players across the tour. As far as that, I mean, I understand the reasoning behind it. I do think that this kind of conversation has created a lot of animosity towards the trans community, which I'm not really a big fan of, but I also understand the need to, I guess, the biological difference and the need.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks.
Need to protect that and preserve that. So I think it's a conversation that is very nuanced, and it causes, or I need to have a nuanced answer. So yes, I guess kind of agree with trying to protect the fairness in women's sports.
It's not nuanced. It's a giant appendage and like a whole lot of chemical support.
But also
the league just came out today and said, yeah, we're going to make sure we know.
Yeah, I think Brittany Griner stops playing.
Dude, I'm surprised they could pass this so quickly too. Like in the MLB,
well, because they knew what was coming.
They knew
No, but like seriously, think about like the player associations, most of these major in the MLB. It took them forever to be able to test these people for steroids, and we all knew they were doing it, but it took them forever.
The craziest thing is, like I said, Brittany Griner's gonna be like, "I'm going through a divorce. I quit, even though my baby calls me pops." It's like, you can't pass that test.
But here's the other thing. The WNBA is literally paid and run because of the NBA. Yeah. So, the NBA got involved and said they're not allowed.
Yeah.
And you got to make sure that's why.
Yep.
So that's the difference between the steroid thing and baseball, because they didn't want to
let the Daddy League made a call.
Yeah, the Daddy League made a call and said, "Hey,
tell me you wouldn't be more likely to watch."
Oh my God. Do you know the views?
Oh, yeah.
I would root for these dudes in Royce White in that wig. He's got to wear that wig.
Oh, you have to.
I'm buying 10 of those jerseys. Oh, yeah. Every color, especially white.
It's like LeBron comes.
Royce White.
And it's like LeBron comes and plays for the Sirens.
Dude. Cleveland, this is for you.
That'd be the only time you'd see this man in a LeBron James jersey.
I would get that one. But also, I don't want him joining the league in any other attire than him in his maid dress that he sent to Diddy.
Yes.
Ready for the Diddy party in the maid dress. Oh, yeah. Give that man a contract. Anyway, Coco Gauff.
So do not like the attack that it is creating people who don't really care but just want to use this as a reason to attack the trans community. So I'm not really a big fan of that either. So I don't really know how to answer really.
Well, they're attacking your league.
This question in a way that people aren't going to spin it. But as far as where I stand, I definitely support the trans community, but I also support the need of creating fairness in sport too.
Oh, women need protected spaces. But I don't want to be called a bigot. I'm going to give this answer in a way where I'm like, bitches need to be saved, but I'm not a bigot.
It's a very contradictory answer.
Dude, what have I said forever? To be a Democrat, you have to live a logical conundrum. You have to have your cake and eat it too. Everything you believe is a logical controversy to the other thing you believe. So she has to go, well, we need to protect women's spaces. However, I'm not a bigot.
She basically affirmed Sophie Cunningham's position while just adding that little
and Brittany Griner.
Yeah.
She's like, I think my teammate should be allowed to have a pool party with his shirt off. But also Sophie Cunningham is right for saying we need to have women's spaces.
Yes.
That is, okay, that's cowardice. I'd rather you have no opinion. You go, you know what? I'm here to just dribble a ball.
Yeah.
Then I go, you know what? That's
what we pay them for. That is what she is paid to do.
But for you to go, okay, is 2 + 2 4 or is 2 + 2 5? And if you have to go, well, for the sake of humanity, it's 4 and 5, like Schrodinger's cat.
That was good.
Dude.
That was good.
Nobel Peace Prize.
I'll give it to you.
Give me an award.
Oh man, we need one for the studio.
Oh, whoa.
Just like a little
Like a prop one.
Yeah.
Here you go.
All right.
Because they are just one big God's chosen people prop. We know that.
Yeah.
We went down that road.
But again, back to the initial point. Or what, 2-3 years into Caitlin Clark being in the league, and this is the biggest conversation of that league.
Yes,
this is the biggest conversation. This and they're beating the hell out of them.
Right.
No.
Great point.
What are we doing?
Well, I do want to balance. Colin Cowherd makes a strong position, but I want to balance this whole dialogue with some of the other side of the consideration. I got Stephen A. Smith and Dave Portnoy, but they point a lot of their attention more at the coaches.
This is not about being anti anything. This is about being pro girls, pro females, pro women, pro ladies. That's what this is about. You can't be
I should
a male, born a male, transitioning to female, and think that you should have the right to compete with women. Not in basketball, not in football, not in boxing, not in the UFC. Hell, not even in tennis.
Yeah.
It's an aberration when you find somebody like a Serena Williams serving 120 miles,
Give her a
25
test.
miles an hour. That's ordinary for Jokic or Jokovic. That's ordinary for Sinner. That's ordinary for Alcaraz.
I know. I feel like it's freezing on us.
No, that's just Steven.
Watch him blink. Right when you think it's frozen, he's just like.
That was ordinary for Sampras, Agassi, and all of these guys.
This is a future president.
We gotta stop this.
Like, he's pretty good. He's got me.
We gotta stop acting
He
like
definitely
somebody
talks before he knows what he's gonna say, and that's what all these pauses
A little bit.
are.
Pretty cohesive.
that's speaking up on behalf of girls like a Sophie Cunningham, like a Riley Gaines, are scourges of the earth. You are Cheryl Reeve, the head coach of the Minnesota Lynx. That is an irresponsible thing to do. You are a coach for a female basketball team. Do you not think that the females are being screwed over if they have to compete against a individual born as a male? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? You trying to tell me that a college player for the men's at a college program anywhere in the country or an NBA player should transition to being a woman and be allowed to compete in the WNBA?
So again, he's talking about a coach that wore a shirt that said "Strands Kids Belong" after, I think it's the same coach that got in trouble for getting in the face of two minor girls at her basketball game who were rooting for Sophie Cunningham and wore Sophie Cunningham's shirt for like XY versus XX, preserve the female league or what, and she tears in cussing at minor girls who, one, are supposed to be the fan base you're making aspire to want to be on your bench one day. But then even more so, that's your audience.
Yeah.
Like, listen to your audience.
I couldn't see it.
Because again, it ain't us, like we've been saying.
No, it's not. It's really not. I couldn't imagine an NBA coach doing that.
Yeah,
Like,
no.
had a fan like that.
For any of it.
No.
Whether it's racial, sexual, religious, you don't see it.
On a collegiate level to a women's college program? Whether it's UConn, South Carolina, Iowa, Tennessee, or wherever else you want to come up with. What the hell are you talking about? It's not true. It is false. AJ DeBonta.
All right, that's too many pauses. I mean, he's not getting to the point.
I mean, we got it.
We got the point. Dave Portnoy has a little bit, he's got a two-parter here, so maybe we'll take a pause in between to discuss them separately. Right. But he does acknowledge the two kind of social topics we brought into it, the racial element, then also the sexual element, or often or much, but I will say he takes a strong position.
I'll start with DeJounte Carrington. I know you say DJ so we don't screw up. She commits the flagrant 2 on Sophie Cunningham, and maybe the story ends there if Carrington doesn't go to the locker room, pick up her phone, and tweet white privilege, which is insane. If you go watch other networks, I'm not going to say it on Fox, but ESPN's filled with absolute morons. Absolutely have a panel of morons sitting there discussing this play and talking about whether it was the right call.
These are plays we've seen from DeJounte. She's behind the offensive player coming over the top. So again, she was behind Sophie Cunningham. She wasn't able to get over the top. Had she got over the top and made that play, we wouldn't have been talking about it.
And they don't even mention the fact that she said white privilege. That is the story. The story isn't that she got kicked out. It's that she tweeted out white privilege as though because Sophie Cunningham is white, somehow that's why she got kicked out. They go on to defend her, the story, the narrative that she's not a dirty player. She makes plays like this.
Definition of a psyop.
All the time. I put together a little clip of DJ Carrington, who is definitely one of the dirtiest players in the WNBA. I don't know if we can roll it, but she's taken her long fingernails. She's scratched Caitlin Clark's eyes out. She's had multiple instances of chasing people down from behind, trying the same swat and smashing them in the head and causing mini fights. She pulled another girl's hair.
That
I don't know
just
if we'll get
looks
to that
like
clip in a
privilege.
second when she's falling. Totally dirty play. This is not a skin color thing. She has a history of making dirty plays, and it's fine. The NBA, you can be a rough and tumble league. Now, where this thing gets absolutely bananas is when you start.
Well, come on, don't say bananas now. Where does the story get bananas? You're supposed to tuck the banana.
To a race and culture war, and the people talking about it are not mentioning 99% of the time that she went back and tweeted white privilege. White privilege how? You made a dirty play. Sophie Cunningham, everyone's putting up clips of her like tackling a player on a drive, defending Caitlin, you say. Well, she got kicked out of the game for that too and didn't say anything after. When you have commentators like Cheryl Reeves, who I like, Elle Duncan, I'm putting some of the names down, who are like, conservatives are trying, an outside force trying to hijack the WNBA and trying to make everything about race and trying to make it a culture war. No, it's you. It's you guys, and I'm not saying specific, but yes, to Carrington, you specific. When you tweet something so stupid and then you get shocked when people who aren't necessarily WNBA fans, and by the way, I was on the opposite side of this issue 2 weeks ago when Caitlin Clark didn't want to mention the trans issue that they asked her about when they should be allowed. She's like, I just want to play basketball. Megyn Kelly's like, she's a coward for not talking. I told Megyn Kelly to shut up. Like, you don't watch the WNBA. You don't watch basketball. You're inserting. But when you have one of your players who commits a clear flagrant 2 and then tweets white privilege right after she goes to the locker room, you can't then cry that this is being talked about in racial terms in a culture. She started that. This is a basketball play. The second you go white privilege, and they are talking about it on these telecasts without mentioning what she tweeted. Oh, they're turning into a culture war, turning into a race war. This is our league. Don't let conservatives or the right hijack it. Your player tweeted white privilege, and it had nothing to do with that. Second point, Stephanie White, I've been a defender, the coach of the Fever. Get her out of there. Fire her ass today. Oh, she plays hard, DJ. That's just her being her.
One of the things about Nay is that she's going to play her butt off, man. She's going to compete. Nobody's going to go walking in for a layup.
You see Caitlin in the press conference almost cover her ears and her eyes. Defend your players. First of all, you're wrong. It was a dirty play and she's gone. But when do you ever see in like the NBA a coach not defend their own players? She hasn't done it with Caitlin. When Caitlin got punched in the throat, she didn't do it.
It's almost like the coaches are all in on it too. Like it's one intentional psyop. We are intentionally letting this get away, like let this flourish in the league, and we're going to pay the at least figureheads of each team to look the other way. Like I got to imagine there has been a dialogue about this. You're going to shut up and you're never going to acknowledge it.
And that's
I
why
don't care if you agree with it or not.
I was like, I think the higher ups have no idea how to handle the spotlight that's on the league now and the way the players are behaving. I
Right.
have no idea what to do.
You're right. You're right.
You're wrong, but it starts to make me think you care more about the overlying social issues and not pissing off other people in the league and saying men can play in the league because she's one of those players. Coaches, when asked, always is taking the far left side of it. This isn't politics. Your player got assaulted. Get her the hell out of there. Either defend your players or get lost. Also, white privilege in the WNBA is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in the world. This is a league that is fiercely minority, whether it's trans, blacks, the gay community. To be a straight white person and think you're getting special treatment in the WNBA is insane. If anything, it's the other way. Now, does all this make me want to tune in and root for the Fever more? Sure, but I just hate the hypocrisy. You can't cry about the league becoming political and being taken over when you get a flagrant 2, that's clearly a flagrant 2, and you tweet white privilege from your phone 3 seconds after it happened. That's why this story blew up. And I'm getting tweets from players and saying this is insane. Literally, it's a flagrant 2. She tweeted white privilege. Anybody with a brain knows that's insane. So if you aren't going to call that out, do not come crying to me when it's true. People who don't care about the WNBA or the basketball are getting involved. But yeah, when you tweet.
I think that's the bigger point. That's what I more than anything wanted to close out on with this point, which is when you let this become the foundation of your entire entertainment enterprise, don't be surprised when the wrong people get involved in the conversation and then define your enterprise by it.
Yep.
I mean, it's just the inevitable outcome. All of this tailing, another story that came out of this week, you may or may not be familiar with Veronica Ivy. This is a cyclist champion. That's the kind figure on the right.
Oh, it's that one?
What would make that, hey.
I thought it was the one in the middle.
So to be a cyclist champion in the female division and then transfer over and become the British Columbia's third consecutive title, whatever that is, provisional title at the Canadian Women's Mid-Amateur Championship. So again, everybody take a look. If you're going to let just what defines a woman, just anybody that claims to be a woman, just so you know, this is going to be the Bo Jacksons of female sports. This is the Showtime Sanders, who is playing multiple sports. I'm doing the World Series and an NFL game all in one day. Why? Because I'm the sure. This is the face of female sports. Somebody that could never make it in a male sports league, by the way.
Nice. Good.
Yeah. Well, it is wonderful closing out the whole topic.
I tell you what, all this conversation is not going to get me flocked to a WNBA game.
Really?
Yeah, I can't wait to see the attendance numbers for Cleveland. Like first year, I'm sure people are going to go, but
I bet you when Sophie
term.
Cunningham and Caitlin Clark are there, that shit's sold out.
Oh yeah, that'll be a seller.
I will be there.
That'll be a seller.
I will be there for Sophie Cunningham. Caitlin Clark, maybe. I'm sure my dad will want to go, so I'll end up there. But I can assure you, I will be there for Sophie Cunningham. Whoop.
She's that one.
She's that one right there. Oh. She's glowing from because she's beautiful.
This league.
Yeah.
This league.
So let me get to another topic I'd like to bring some updates on. It's been resurfacing again. We had done a little discussion. I think it was 2-3 weeks ago, Doug, where we were talking about, we showed a clip from last week tonight with John Oliver, where John Oliver was waging war with Buc-ee's. He had taken on this position where Buc-ee's is just this corporate.
The best gas station on earth. I won't lie. The
Cool.
best.
There you go. And in that world, they are a corporate conglomerate that just like hungry hippos keeps eating up all these small businesses over their copyright infringement. And their suits just are incredibly ridiculous. There's very little comparison between them and Buc-ee's using their financial might and legal boardroom power have just been trampling on the little man. Well, it was just recently reported by John Oliver. I didn't want to include the multiple, another report by him, but in his report, Doug found the story. It's been catching waves. Just recently, they're doing another lawsuit here in Ohio. And before I get to that, it is funny. John Oliver gave us the update. He's making his buck you close as please sue me. I dare you, because somebody with the power and money is actually willing to step up to the plate. Kind of like, Royce White. We finally got somebody that's willing to step to the plate and hold their feet to the fire. Little challenge. So he acknowledges that, no, they haven't called their bluff. They haven't made a suit yet. However, last week tonight has made well over $500,000 and counting, because that's how passionate people are on this topic. And so now resurfacing here out of Ohio, Buc-ee's finally moves to Ohio, a year ago, and they're already trampling on little business, where they're coming after Beaver's Mini Mart, saying that this logo infringes upon the head with a hat. Beyond all the different, oh yeah, this also stemming from Beaver's Mini Mart, is a mini mart located in Beaver Creek, Ohio.
It's adorable.
Yeah, it's almost like it's not infringing on Buc-ee's, but a reflection of the community. It's a locally rooted idea or brand.
It's mom and pop mini mart.
Exactly.
I just saw two follow up. So I sent you an article talking about this, but I just saw something yesterday. The community rallied too here at this mart. And they did like a cookout in the parking lot. Everyone came, bought gas, bought stuff from the grocery store, showed their support against Buc-ee's lawsuit.
Right. And people are boycotting Buc-ee's.
But you know what? Like Beaver Creek isn't, as far as I'm aware, near any Buc-ee's. The only Buc-ee's in Ohio right now is in Dayton, Ohio. I don't think that's near them at all, too.
No,
why feel that threatened that you have to?
Just because they can. The more they win, the more they get settlements, the more it enhances their power to do so. So really, they're incentivized to eat up as many as they can, because it does just make their argument stronger in the future.
That's ridiculous.
It is. But getting on to Doug's point, it was wonderful watching the community rally together, come to Buc-ee or Beaver Mini Mart's defense. I mean, I want you to see what we're dealing with. This is Doug, best gas station in the country, whatever he said.
Cleanest bathrooms if you ever need to stop on the road.
Super cool stuff. And I'll tell you that Beaver's Mini Mart definitely isn't going to even try to take that claim. But I do want to make the acknowledgement that this huge, giant supermart is being compared to, this is the Mini Mart that's a threat to Buc-ee's.
Normal neighborhood corner store, no threat to a Buc-ee's. And what's?
I mean, dude, this is so small. This is so small. It's just like, I got honey buns and jerky. That's the extent of it. Buc-ee's. I could give you an inflatable mattress and a canoe, and it's like, yeah, dude, we're not in the same world. This is what Buc-ee's is up against. And what's funny is, we talk about American racism. It's like, we don't even care who or what the mom and pop is.
Yeah.
America. Like this is an American,
this is the American dream.
Yeah, right. Well, this is just an American functioning member of society trying to make it. And the community's coming to their defense regardless. It was interesting when Buc-ee's tried to take the position of like, look at how ridiculous this is, trying to kind of defend their position. It is funny once you read these comments where they're just like, we're never going to Buc-ee's again. Stop your lawsuits. Hey, Buc-ee's employees, how does it feel to work for a company that runs? Boom. I'm not going to read the rest of that. No one is confused between a mom and pop convenience store versus a effing corporate monstrosity. Maybe drop the lawsuit. I mean, dude, the comments are relentless and they just keep going. So, I mean, this has to be the biggest brand snafu to blow back in their face. Whereas before, I think the public really wasn't aware of them trying to throw their might around.
This might be the biggest PR snafu since Bud Light.
No, I'd say Cracker Barrel.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that one was kind of dumb.
This one's kind of dumb. Bud Light's they were trying to instill idealistic conversation and something I had no deal with. This is just capitalism at its finest, trying to overstep its boundary, or like overstep, what would it be? It's power.
Right.
Just overstep its power completely in just an utter stupid way.
Exactly. So I think they're going to be humbled a little bit in this situation. I do want to get to the president of the Lollipop Guild, Governor DeWine, because he had some thoughts on this whole thing.
I'm Buc-ee's. People love Buc-ee's, and I was there when the ceremony took place. We welcomed them.
I love them.
We welcomed them to Mansfield, but it just seems to me that they need to dismiss this lawsuit. This is ridiculous. It is Beaver Creek, for heaven's sake.
It's Beaver Creek versus Buc-ee's.
You expect to find Beaver Creek.
So pissed at this.
Beaver. And I looked at the cartoon figure, and I don't think anybody.
This rustles my feathers.
The Buc-ee.
You guys have been talking about it real quick. This is the most sense I've heard of.
Yeah, I know. That's why I had to include the president of the Lollipop Guild, because he finally made sense.
You need to start. This is way off topic, but on topic enough, because the Lollipop Guild was just on. You need to recreate the wine videos with the wig on, doing that voice. I
love them. Ohio citizens are just so the kind people.
You sound like the It's Always Sunny people trying to act like British royals.
Really, what I'm going for is the old man from Family Guy. That's what I hear the whole time. Every time he talks, he's like, "I love the little boys."
Hey, Chris, could you help me with my
Hey, Chris, you want to go to Buc-ee's?
I have some candy.
That's a skill I wish I had. I wish I had that skill. That's pretty good. Man.
So, I'm loving watching a corporate conglomerate get humbled by the masses, and I'll be eager to see how the whole thing pans out.
Before we get off this real quick, have you looked into if other communities across the country where Buc-ee's has kind of instilled their will upon, have they kind of rallied around? Or is this kind of an Ohio thing?
I think this is the first time it's made national headlines, but also, like, I'm sure local communities have gotten rallied, but it was futile because money talks. And
they're also usually like in the middle of nowhere. You get off at an exit where it's Buc-ee's, there's like one or two other things within the immediate area of this exit. Like because they're so large, they're usually where there's a lot of land. Like I've gone to like 3 or 4 of them. Buc-ee's is usually the only thing around, besides one of them has like a Harley Davidson dealership next door.
Right.
Like, and then it's just other small gas stations. Like,
right.
So like usually they're not even around anything. And again, this Beaver Creek is nowhere near the Dayton, Ohio Buc-ee's. Like this is the dumbest thing ever. Like they're not threatened in any way, even like proximity wise. Like I'd get if it was right next door. That'd be a whole somewhat different conversation. It's so dumb, but that'd be somewhat different. This isn't even near each other.
Well, and that's the Missy was getting antsy. Well, and that is the, I guess, downside to what we're dealing with. They get away with it because they're in the middle of nowhere, and most of the places, people in the middle of nowhere are like, dude, we've got a Waffle House and a dollar store. That is what we get to shop in. So yeah, I'll happily take this.
That's actually by one of the Buc-ee's is a Waffle House. You nailed it. You nailed it.
Who would have thought? So, before we get entrenched in the politics of the day, the weather's been crazy. It's definitely been crazy here in Ohio, but it's just been a hellish week for everybody. And I just wanted to kind of touch upon the earthquakes that were taking place in Colombia, because some of the clips coming out of this was crazy. So, sorry for, literally Colombia, the whole infrastructure got wrecked by an extremely severe earthquake. And, there's tons and tons of videos coming out of the event like this. For the folks listening, what we're seeing right now is like a stadium or, sophisticated architectural office building just being torn apart, the walls falling off, watching buses now shake like a giant's just tipping them over. Here's a church, the whole face breaks off. Like this is a basilica that's been around for like thousands of years, and the steeple breaks. Because it is crazy watching a hospital in the middle of a surgery deal with that. So here are doctors and or surgeons and assistants scrambling to hold. Real quick, just let's get through the clip. Dude.
Oh my God. Looks like they're on a cruise ship. Like, look at that stuff rock around like that. Like, you think you're in a cruise ship in the middle of the ocean.
Dude, their whole abdomen is open. And you got to hold them down, make sure nothing falls in. I mean, you've got ceiling tiles above you. You can't get any of that debris in there. Like, you also don't want, like, whatever's holding them stable dislodging. I mean,
imagine waking up from that after the fact, not knowing that happened.
Oh my God.
And then you see this video.
Yeah, that was you.
I mean, can we agree on the level of miracle for you to wake up after this? I mean, superheroes. For them to do that, superheroes.
Well, Colin Cowherd said that's true courage.
Yeah, right.
That's true courage.
That's real courage. I mean, that's heroism. Throw your butt. I mean, an earthquake's happening. Most people get under a table. So things don't lodge themselves in your back or knock you out. You throw your body on top of the cadaver. I mean, that, again, real heroes.
Cadaver. I don't think it's a cadaver yet, big guy.
Not exactly. Could have been.
Cadaver is a dead body.
Okay.
That's why
surgical practice.
That's why they're called cadaver dogs. They
what?
stand for dead bodies.
Oh.
Cadaver is dead.
Gotcha. All right. Wrong word. Don't want to associate that.
Well, I mean, if they didn't get on top of him, maybe it might have been.
Might have been.
Yeah. Well, actually, to be fair, we also don't know the results of that surgery.
Right.
So.
Oh, yeah. Trust me. That's why there's a lot of ifs.
I like to think it went perfectly well.
I'd honestly like to think it did with all their hard work there and effort during that. I'd like to think it happened okay, but you don't know because what if they needed wrecked, you know?
So that's the crazy weather occurring in Colombia. Now I want to click over to something that occurred wild on Monday here in Columbus, Ohio. This is a car driving on the street, getting blown over like a piece of paper by wind. So it's tough to see, a lot of fog, a lot of rain, but you'll watch this car get blown like it's nothing, dude. From the wind.
And why just that car?
Yeah, you do want to know the side aerodynamics of like, what car was that?
Yeah, I don't want to buy that car. I will not buy that car.
Because the other cars do kind of make it all right. Well, everybody's going slow.
Yeah, there's two lanes of traffic here, and you're telling me that's the only car all day that flipped over in this?
And flipped right over, is it? That's crazy that the wind can even do that.
Dude, it was some crazy storms. My place was rocking with some of the thunder and wind.
Oh, yeah. Missy was a doozy.
Oh, poor Missy. Didn't have any.
I bet she absolutely hated it.
Yeah, she wasn't thrilled. So now let's get into, our modern sitcom, right? Let's have a conversation about the world of living with these flock cameras and data centers.
Oh, what the flock?
Telling you, the chemicals in the tap water, they're turning the data centers gay.
The data centers? So what, the servers are doing show tunes now?
The algorithms are fabulous, Jerry. Complete reorientation.
It's pretty good.
I love this. I could, honest to God, believe that was a Seinfeld scene if it was.
Oh, yeah, it's a 2026 Seinfeld. No doubt. We're bringing it back into the modern century thanks to AI. But before we get into totally talking about flock cameras, surrounding that conversation is the infrastructure that brings it, which is the data centers and all of these giant fields and technological systems that are being rolled out across the country. And locally, the local assay to us here in Ohio is, red or blue, we're cooks, but acknowledging the both sides of the dagger. Vivek Ramaswamy was made quite a fool. Last week, he was here in Ohio, and the libertarians of Ohio, like, screamed him off the stage.
Good.
Well, here's when will these asshole politicians, like, realize the internet is forever, and we will literally be able to fact check you 100% of the time. So here's Vivek thinking, well, I can just be on the campaign trail and say one thing, as if me saying the exact opposite for the last year won't catch up to me. Yes.
He thinks he's Donald
Never
Trump.
once
He gets away
come out and said, hey, I am pro data center. I've never once come out and said, hey, I am pro data center expansion. I have a free for all and have at it. Absolutely not. Never said it.
We have an AI data center boom in the state of Ohio, which is great. I'm all for it. I'm strongly in favor of it.
We've got AI data centers moving to our state. That's a good thing.
It's a good thing, I promise.
And in our own state here, we've got an AI data center boom, which is great. That's coming. A demand surge with AI data centers moving to our state. That part's good. We now have a boom of AI data centers moving into our state. That's a good thing. There are AI data centers, and that's a good thing, coming to our state. We have an AI data center boom of all kinds of manufacturing and AI data centers that are being constructed across our state. That's an opportunity. It's a good thing.
But again,
I've never once come out and said, hey, I am pro data center expansion. I have a free for all and have at it.
I've never said that. So continuing that dialogue, I mean, the real one here. Oh, first off, though, I really can't say it the way I'd like to. So there was a gentleman at one of these council meetings for his local flock discussion, and I just kind of want to let this gentleman's remarks kind of reflect my remarks to Vivek.
As long as I don't curse him out, and as long as I don't threaten him, I can say what I want.
Right?
Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
We sick and tired of that nigga there.
He's heading out me. But we might be.
I agree with him.
Retweet.
I don't know who he's pointing at, but I agree.
Yeah, Vivek.
Oh, was he?
No, you missed my whole prelude. Then obviously,
okay.
But continuing with it, here's Thomas Massey kind of making some remarks about the flock cameras to kick off this conversation.
How many fans of flock cameras do we have in here?
What?
I heard a few boos. I didn't hear any claps. The government, yeah, we could all be safer if we all wore body cameras and head cameras and we had them in our living rooms and our bedrooms and on the street corners. It might make us safer, but in another way, it's going to make us less safe. And we cannot be trading our freedom of movement, our freedom of privacy for a little false promise of security. And these flock cameras have already been abused, just like the FISA program has been abused by the FBI. I mean, the FBI goes in there and looks up people on Tinder, some of these FBI agents, or looks up girlfriends that they've had to see if they're in the files. Well, you got the same thing going on with flock cameras. We don't elect angels to Congress. I guess you already knew that. But neither are the people who run these systems. And so we're far better off having our privacy. And so I'm going to introduce a bill that says that we're not going to give any federal money in order for it to be constitutional. I don't think I have the ability to ban flock cameras in any given city, but I sure do have the ability to say we're not going to give you money for the flock cameras. And
is that asking too much?
We'll basically, as they say, follow the money. If you get grants for your police department or your
almost like he's using the
municipality,
power of
whether
the
it's a
purse,
city
you know,
or
the
a
power
county,
they have
to enforce safety or
follow
to
the money,
provide protection of your citizens, we are not giving you that money to buy flock cameras or if you use flock cameras.
Why is this a rare position we see in our representatives? Now, let's see kind of, it's been a while since we talked about the flock cameras. In that time, their practice has been able to give us a lot of evidence and material to discuss and theorize around. None of them good. So what has come of the flock cameras as of recent? Has there been some severe decrease in crime in your neighborhoods? No, but we have been seeing a severe increase in false flags. So here, one is where we're seeing this pop up. A consistent theme. You know, it's supposed to protect your streets. We're reading license plates. We're looking for thieves and car thieves, you know, Grand Theft Auto, the whole 9 yards. Well,
so I decided to go to the gun range today, you know, like an American, and tell me why there are vlog cameras pointing into the entrance of the parking lot. Not the street, not the
Ford
street,
store next
into
door.
the entrance, so they can read every license plate that comes in here. Yeah, no, I love this. I love this. I'm sure there's no ulterior motive behind this either.
Oh, but that's just a rarity. She's being hyperbolic.
There are freaking flock cameras at the gun range. This is the entrance to the gun range. So they got you coming in. They also got you going out. Today's Wednesday, so the gun range is closed until 2. So there's nobody here. Now these are in the driveway to the gun range. They're not out. They're not out on the road. This is only catching cars and trucks coming in the driveway to the gun range, and right there's the range. Unbelievable. I did send a records request to FWC for information on the flock cameras and the placement here. I've yet to get a response. I'll let you know if I do get a response.
You won't.
But if you come to the Ocala gun range, just understand that you're going to be on the flock camera. And who comes to the gun range? Well, of course, gun owners, people that are shooting.
Yeah.
So they have a record.
The populace we got to be worried about.
Of people who are coming to the gun range.
As far as a danger to the state, not the community.
And going to the gun range. As far as I know, this isn't a big place for crime. I know they had a couple robberies out here years ago, but I haven't heard anything since. But why does FWC or whoever put these here, why do they need flock cameras?
It's not a private road.
At the public gun.
I'm surprised they put it there, you know, and like the gun range.
Well, I'm sure they're getting a kickback. There's subsidies in these things.
They're definitely getting money for letting them place it there on their road.
Was that going to be the only comment you had, or did you have something else?
No, I was going to say too, like, it's funny. You always see stuff about flock camera nows. We would have never known about them, at least as much as we did, if they hadn't done that disastrous Super Bowl commercial with the dog. That's what made everybody realize.
No, that was
Flock
Ring.
Was a thing.
That was Ring cameras.
That was Ring teaming with Flock. That's how people learned Flock shares data, and that's what they did. And then Ring immediately canceled all plans to integrate with Flock. That was everyone's first introduction to Flock, was because Ring was teaming up with them for that neighborhood plan where you could search for a lost dog.
That makes sense, because I do kind of remember the conversation really amplifying around them.
Well, and it may have started there, but the controversies have only blown up from there, and it's a series of controversies. The communities become aware of them. They go to their council. They vote them off. And the council of your local city, like Cleveland, and we've seen this in numerous cities, like LA, the LAPD they all cancel their contracts with Flock, but then Flock, as a courtesy, kept them on. So now the community has to go back and vote to force removal of them. And it's become that's one element of this. Then what we're going to get into here next is all of the false alarms. Like, they're not even trying to work out the kinks of this shit before they make it the law of the land. They're letting cops go and arrest mothers and your local members of your community under the pretense that the Flock says this, and then it's flat out wrong. And who's there to pick up the pieces? Well, it's a technology. It's not us. It's not the PD. It's not, the judge that signed the warrant. We're just operating and relying upon the information that the computer gave us. Well, the computer isn't perfect yet. So why are we treating it like a perfect law of the land, like an omniscient God that has no impunity, and we get to just let it define truth and reality? So let me give you some examples. Also stemming out of the last couple of weeks, here are some of the false flags that we had to deal with. This one's 5 minutes long. We might skip through it. We may not watch the whole thing, but imagine you're a father who just gets pulled over, and not only are you, but also your infant being held at gunpoint instead of your license plate being 55XP, it's 55XA, and the flock camera just happened to read it wrong.
Hey, driver. Hey, put your hands up and walk back to me. Hey, anybody else in the car?
My daughter and my son.
Oh, how old are they?
My daughter, not my daughter, my girlfriend, my son.
Okay.
My son, he's a newborn, he's a month and a half. My girlfriend, she's 28.
All right, bye. The reason I'm stopping you is your plate's stolen.
You said it's who?
It's coming back stolen. Your license plate. You got your ID on you, boss?
Yeah, I got my wallet.
Where's your wallet at?
My pocket.
Okay.
It's not my vehicle.
Whose vehicle is
it? It's my girlfriend's vehicle.
Okay. Hey, boss. Just come on back here for me. All right, boss. Just right now, you're just going to be detained, okay? More people in the car. Yeah.
Got a guy in cuffs, gun drawn, by the way.
You're just detained until we figure everything out, okay?
You're just detained and, assumed to be guilty until we figure this shit out.
This lighters?
Yeah, this is the lighter.
Just have a seat. Oh, baby.
214, stand by.
Just skipping through a little bit here.
Best case, he's just going to confirm.
Oh my God.
I just heard
The best
over
case, you just confirm it's him.
Like I said, he's going to do his due diligence.
I got my registration and stuff in there.
Is it your car?
Yeah, that's my car.
Okay.
No. Goodness gracious.
But and just until we figure everything out, that's why we pulled y'all out and all of that.
Well, let's let him out. We figured it out. Wrong license plate. Easy flock mistake. What the flock?
Let me get you out of those. I appreciate you being cool. Again, I didn't know exactly what we were coming up on. So.
Those cameras, they're placed everywhere, and they hit license plates, and they'll flag. But I'm not going to say they're completely.
So again, we trampled over your right to privacy, and we totally stole your liberty under the pretense of assuming your guilt before even a true trial or consideration. And yet, the best thing we have to offer you in balance to this whole thing is a whoopsie, I'm sorry. And I hope that's enough.
Where's my get out of jail free card? What about time served?
Yeah, you should. I think, yes. So somebody did make the point that if resisting arrest is a charge, then false imprisonment or unlawful arrest should also be a jailable offense. And so I agree, Doug. If you unlawfully detain me and it comes out, no, I'm sorry. I want a Monopoly get out of jail free card.
Yeah. Add some accountability to it.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. Now
you have to answer for whatever crime I commit and use your get out of jail free card.
Right.
It's like, oh, I committed a more serious crime. Well, you did detain me wrongfully.
Jeez, Doug, I mean.
Yeah, but I also have missed that traffic stop.
Exactly. Well, let's keep it rolling.
Ed Kill tells me that he understands what he did was illegal when he decided to back his work truck into this pole, which had a block safety camera on it. Despite being arrested and still not having his work truck back, he says he doesn't regret his decision.
Oh, no.
Move out here because we want quiet. We don't want to cause any trouble. I don't. Now I'm under surveillance.
Kill says he was heading to lunch when he spotted the camera at Superstition Boulevard and Goldfield Road in Apache Junction. He says he pulled up in his work truck and used it to bend the camera toward the sky. protesting what he calls an invasion of privacy.
I kept backing up, and I saw it bend back. I saw it looking at the sky, and I said, that's good enough.
The camera has since been removed. Kale says he did not damage the camera itself, but fears he could now be charged for the fact that it's no longer operable.
I'm being punished. So is my business. And you know what? It's worth it. The only thing necessary for evil to be done is for good men to do nothing.
Boom.
Someone tell me what this guy's business is, because I want to support it.
Right? Well, it's funny you say that, Doug, because they could try all they want, but the power of the masses are behind these folks, these vigilantes. And here's another example of a vigilante in this type of scenario. But oddly enough, Doug, similar to your point, the whole world, if not at least the local community, went out of their way to come liberate this man.
Old story tonight where it appears nearly 20,000 people have vouched for the whereabouts of a man accused of destroying flock cameras in West Virginia. Thousands of people have publicly said they were with or saw 20-year-old Wesley Jackson during the time he was accused of the crime, with comments such as, "Couldn't be him. He was helping me replace the roof on a homeless shelter. And I saw him serving at a soup kitchen at the time of the incident. He is not guilty to the
Alex,
crimes
I
against
have a
him."
legal question here for you.
Yeah.
If all this comes out, how can they actually then prove he was there? Even if they have video that they say is him, if that many people are saying they were with him, can they honestly say beyond a doubt that they know it's him?
Here's how he really, well, if it's a bench trial, he's losing, right? Yeah, because the video evidence is going to precede even though it's a litany of personal testimony, it's going to take, it's going to hold higher weight in their evidentiary evaluation. However, I gotta believe the future of this thing. I mean, I'd want to ask the legal experts, those in my orbit and those even that are not. I'd love to hear from the legal experts, but I do believe those people are too close to the situation and are blinded by catching a paycheck and letting the wheels continue to turn. However, I think most, let's say, libertarian-esque legal minds, I'd like to believe that if the masses all volley or lobby for a jury trial versus a bench trial, the prosecutor could have them dead nuts, and 12 peers are like, fuck that shit.
No, they don't even need 12. Even if just one person, doesn't believe.
Fair. Great point, Doug. One person's like, I'm hanging the shit out of this jury. We are all either walking out of here, Batman vigilantes, or the jury or the trial's over and they're restarting, because I'm never wavering.
He changes his story about him every time.
I think, somebody needs to get a hold of these two guys and tell them, whatever you do, hold out for a jury no matter what.
Yeah. That first guy, you talk about the definition of standing on business.
Oh, I did it.
Yeah.
And my business is getting a hit.
He pled guilty and still should ask for the jury trial.
Yeah, I'm guilty. I want a jury trial. Put that on the record. From the deposition showed you literally said to the judge, I done did it. Damn straight. Jury member number 3. What do you think of that? Get him. So you got vigilantes.
I would want those filmed. I want those for the public record to see.
Oh, yeah. So you got vigilantes, you've got false alarms. It's really snowballing into quite a chaotic scene. Then on top of it, it's the normalization. The Pentagon has billions of dollars invested into social manipulation in cinema and film and television. And it is interesting, Doug's a movie loser, so he gets to refrain from movie dialogue. You are a cinephile. You're totally entrenched. Most of the world has dove headfirst into Spider-Man and have nothing but incredible things to say about it. I'm dying to see it. And so I'll be curious to see your thoughts, having already seen it. It is interesting that there is this socialization and, it promulgates these justice and social benefit of using flock cameras.
I don't know if people just missed it or they're just not talking about it, but Spider-Man was pro-surveillance in Spider-Man Brand New Day. Like, there was a whole scene where he was talking to Detective DeWolf, and she was like, how are you going to find Jean Grey? She could be anywhere. And he's like, oh, don't worry, I have cameras all over the city running facial recognition. This motherfucker just described flock cameras. And it wasn't even like a Dark Knight situation where he immediately faced pushback and later faced repercussions, because Detective DeWolf basically threw her hands up and was like, oh, I didn't hear anything. And then later on in the movie, it's never brought up again. And so it really just made me wonder why they just had to put this inconsequential pro-surveillance scene in one of the biggest movies of 2026 during a time when nobody wants to be surveilled. Until I remembered that Disney actually already uses facial recognition technology at their resorts and parks, so they have an incentive to normalize the use of this technology. The same way that they have an incentive to normalize the use of AI. Like, before this movie came out, I remember people were upset that Spider-Man was going to have an AI assistant, and now that the movie's come out, I kind of have to agree. What was the point? It wasn't to show that he is just smart, because they did that in other ways in this movie. Like when he was talking to Ned about his web shooters and how complicated it was to make that, plus the fluid. Now, I don't say any of this to discourage anyone from liking this movie or shame anyone for liking this movie. I still give it a 9 out of 10. I really enjoyed this movie. But when you are a fan of something, I do believe that you have the responsibility to critique it, and a couple of things in this movie just reminded me that this is a corporate product, unfortunately.
Thoughts?
I love it when people always start with, I think I'm too woke for this, because it's like, nothing you said is wrong. It's a Spider-Man movie. Why is he using fish? He's Spider-Man. He's not the U.S. government.
Sure.
But like, he's not wrong. Like, those are all elements in the movie. The only thing I guess I kind of disagree is the AI, because it's kind of like Jarvis. It's Tony Stark's Jarvis.
Well, dude,
like,
my main thing is he's even more removed at this point in the series. I haven't seen this new movie, but he's more removed from being the man, the government, now more than ever. Like when he was with Tony Stark,
right? Which
and all
is
his
the normalization of this tech that, like, even the regular man, like, look at the benefit. This is a huge tech. Like, again, he references Batman, not the government, but also very much normalizing and promulgating the social value and need for a tool like this. But again, it's important to kind of take these types of stories and keep them, strictly in balance with the reality of these false alarms.
Police with guns drawn pull over a car they say was flagged by flock cameras in connection to a homicide out of Milwaukee. Well,
you've got a car locked on the freeway, guns drawn from every corner. Dude's got hands in the air. Couldn't be more scared. Oh, shit. Sorry. False alarm.
Turns out this was all some sort of mishap with the flock camera systems. In fact, Brookville police say they called Milwaukee police, and MPD said they no longer needed the car or the people inside, so officers let them go. But this has really become a point of contention, flock cameras as a whole, as more reports.
I didn't want to derail the Spider-Man dialogue entirely. I just wanted, again, before we depart from all these false flags that we have pulled for just this past week or two, it's important to remember, this is the practical application of it. Mm-hmm. We might catch Mysterio, but at the same time, we are falsely pointing guns at your neighbors. That's the bigger story here.
Yeah, I guess just when you're watching Spider-Man, you're not thinking it's a flock.
Well, of course not. Of course not.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, the goal. Yeah. Hence, like Hoppers, they're not trying to make you think of transhumanism, but the whole story is putting your consciousness in another robot or in another being, or transfer of consciousness. And now some 8-year-old is like, well, yeah, I've seen that in a movie before when I was a kid. Go ahead and plug that shit into my head. Like, that is the purpose of these. Cinephile, it's fun talking about stories and how they could, the imagery and the presentation of these different stories. But the mass corporate creation or I guess financial market around these whole things are not built on just putting a smile on your face.
Right.
It's all for controlling the narrative, controlling the minds, steering where the dialogue and thought of the time is. And so the beauty is, yeah, you were way, way more focused on the love interest of Tom Holland and the bad guy that's going to shake up his world. But that's why they prey upon your subconscious, because the conscious is a lot more in control.
That's why when you sent that on TikTok the other day, right, regarding the Nolan Batman films, and it's The Dark Knight had the perfect discussion around it, even if it was very quickly. When he gives it to Lucius, you know, the cameras I could see across the entire city. He's like, "I'll not work for you again after this if you continue doing this." And he gives him the option to remove it completely, which he does, and it's, again, a perfect social commentary.
Right.
A movie.
But again, now we're the exact opposite.
Now we're the exact opposite, where we're like, ooh, Spider-Man's using it to save the day.
Yes.
We've kind of reverse engineered that conversation. Okay, that Christopher Nolan, I may not have liked the Odyssey that much, but he was ahead of his time when he did the Dark Knight series.
Oh,
it was
severely.
one of those where it was like, ooh, this is a good social commentary. That's not a main focal point of the movie, but it's there.
Right.
And it's a good conundrum that you, the viewer.
Will, you didn't like the Odyssey?
It was fine.
Okay. I mean, I've heard great things about that, so that's why
I have not heard great things about it.
It's very fine. If you liked it, I'm happy for what
I haven't seen it. I've seen some good reviews on it. So
I could see.
If you saw it in the 700 millimeter whatever format, I heard that's like the best weight.
Sure. And I'm sure you've seen printed and paid for text that has nothing but good things to say about it. But I really don't think you've seen people or spoken to people in your social circle that does. And that's what's standing out to me. Yeah. The human beings in my world, not the tweets, not the headlines, the human beings in my world that went and saw it, nobody has exceeded good.
Yeah. Online, people are either saying it's awful or it's the best movie ever. I'm pretty in between. Like, I'm just very
everywhere, not online, in the real world. That's the consensus. Yeah. I've never even seen it's great. Nobody said it's bad. Everybody's like, it's fine.
A lot of effort went into making it. You could really see it on the film. Yeah. I just thought it was kind of boring. I liked the story of the Odyssey. I read it. It just wasn't the interpretation I thought I was going to get from it. It's fine. If you want to go see it, go see it. I'm not saying anybody shouldn't go see it.
Right. So ironically, you know, Flock is controlling the dialogue. It's got quite the presence. You know, things like this are floating across the internet. Those Flock cameras, I can access them at work. I work in insurance. We use them routinely now. They have me pulling images of your car to see if you lied about damage. Just last week, they had me check multiple cameras on someone's vehicle to see if the damage they claimed had existed or if it was truly new. In about 30 seconds, I had over 150 images of this vehicle all over their hometown. These are not crime-fighting tools. These are being used to actually fuck you. We did it through the ISO search, and all we need is your name and address or a VIN or license plate. So as these things are becoming kind of the controlling dialogue, you know, I'm sitting here. We had a big golf tournament amongst friends on Saturday, and I'm sitting there with my partner. I go, hey, Blake, you know, these Flock cameras are becoming such a thing. And I'm looking around. We're waiting for the other team to take their shot. And I'm just kind of looking around the property. And I'm like, how long until we start seeing Flock cameras across the whole golf course? Like on all 18 holes, they're spying on us. They've got Flock cameras watching the property. And he goes, oh, my God, that's not for a long time. I'm telling you, at least 10 years. I go, 10 years? Knowing that I'm severely highballing it. I go, dude, you and I will easily be playing golf still with each other for 3 years. I promise you, in the next 3 years, you and I are going to be playing golf. And you're going to go, shit, Alexander, you were right. Here we are, and golf, and they've got flock cameras on the golf course.
I could see that.
Doug, just please hold your thought for a quick second. So with all that being said, we have this dialogue. I look at him and I go, you've got no more than 3 years. That's Saturday. I wake up Monday and I'm doom scrolling as I'm getting ready for work. Monday. That's Saturday. This is Monday. Can't even shank a ball in peace anymore.
I would aim for it.
Oh yeah.
Dude, they did have like on social media. Have you seen like the guy that puts like a bottle and the camera behind it and he just keeps taking line drive shots trying to hit it? That's a guy with precision. And how many shots does it take to hit that bottle? Do you know how long it would take me to hit that camera? To be like, yeah, it was a mistake. You shot 34 times.
Alex, I could hit it without even trying because, God, I could be aiming at the hole and I'd hit the camera.
No, what you fail to understand is that's not a person on the other fairway.
I may have shot at the camera 34 times, but what you didn't know is before we started the day, we did agree on 35 mulligans. So I was
within the game. I was within the game. It's my score, man.
So here we are. Okay, it's showing up at the gun range. But now it's on golf course. It's everywhere they said it wouldn't be. It's just to find, car thieves. We're just following license plates. Want to find uninsured or unlicensed drivers. And we also want to watch you 3-putt. That's insane to me, dude. I mean...
3-putt Pakistan.
Dude, I could get if they wanted their own cameras out there. Their own cameras. Like to watch their course because... shit has happened, whatever. But to have a flock camera there, like that's absurd.
It is totally absurd. So now keep something like that in balance with here is feds showing up at someone's house. Thank God for their Ring camera as they're getting the federal shakedown based on who they're following and who their followers are. Usher in social credit score.
Situation. So the gentleman that you were going back and forth with online, obviously he raised a lot of concerns for us. We obviously protect Netanyahu when he comes here, okay? Some of the things that are concerning is he's almost speaking like he knows you. So, I mean, do you mind answering some questions in reference to this guy?
I'm simply going to say that I don't know him. Okay. He's just simply an Instagram follower that said that he believed in the Declaration of Independence. Okay.
So due to a Instagram follower you have, you don't even know him. You're not even DMing him. You're guilty by association.
It's like, who's the follower? LeBron James.
LeBron James. It's Alex Jones.
Right. That's it. Besides that, I'm going to look at this.
I mean, I get where you're coming from. I know you're concerned about what you're saying is, I'm not worried about you.
Oh.
Okay. You're not under arrest.
Better not be.
I'm going to walk away from this place.
Good.
I'm not planning on arresting you.
Oh.
I am just looking to say, hey, can we talk about this guy? Obviously, you said you don't know him.
I want to scare you into association with him.
I'll tell you this much. Okay, if there was anything that I knew about the guy,
right,
that I'd always red flag. I'm a very intelligent person.
I would hope so. You got a bunch of business.
I would definitely tell you.
Okay.
I'm fast. I'm just a concrete guy. I used to be in the Marine Corps. I believe in the Declaration of Independence. I believe in freedom.
You believe in the Second Amendment?
I believe in the Second Amendment.
There we go. Okay.
And we're going to let these people have the power of the flock camera, the power to just intrude evaporate your privacy and follow your every waking move, record and create a library of your every waking move in a world where, again, headline, LAPD declined to renew its flock contract after an internal audit found 161 false stolen vehicle alerts in just 2 months, a 32.3% false positive. So in a world where a third of the time you are fully wrong, but you're going to act upon it being 100% accurate. You're going to give it the legal viability of 100% accuracy is absolutely absurd. And eventually, as you see here, it's being tied to your social interaction on social media and in person, tied to your free speech. I'm allowed to share followers or dialogue with whoever I want and it not be policed by the state. So I just want to, we got a couple last pieces here as far as flock cameras are concerned.
You might be endangering Will and I just by us being associated with you, Alex.
You're right.
I signed that contract a long time ago.
Bitch, I'm taking it down with me.
It's the risk of being friends with them.
And
I signed that contract a long time ago. I think I knew the risks then too.
So again, here you want to see what the result is by empowering these people. Well, let's see it play out in real time.
This morning, 6 former Savannah Police Department employees, including 4 officers, are now under criminal investigation after being fired for allegedly misusing these controversial surveillance cameras made by the company Flock.
Totally honest, I'm disappointed. I'm pissed off about it.
The employees allegedly using the system to make personal searches involving family and acquaintances. The high-tech AI-powered cameras read license plates and store that data for police departments to use. Over 120,000 deployed nationwide to help fight crime. They're on streetlights, bridges, and highways. But backlash is growing amid rising reports of misuse. Dozens of officers now charged or accused of using the technology inappropriately, including stalking. This North Carolina police officer arrested for allegedly using it to track her boyfriend's ex-wife more than 30 times. She's set to appear in court at the end of the month.
That's what bothers me the most.
It's my professional opinion.
And on top of so you get it. They're failed technology and we're obsessed with it and we're going to let it define our legal system. However, I want that to be balanced with this testimony in a Flock Cameras safety audit. This was just 2 days ago, August 10th, 2026, where a public safety council really makes some strong points. God bless Columbus City Council.
It is my professional opinion that Flock is a dystopian violation of our rights. And what I mean by that is that it inverts the very nature of how police are supposed to function. So in traditional investigations, a crime is supposed to happen first, and then detectives are supposed to identify a list of plausible suspects, and then those suspects are placed under investigation. But under Flock, we are all, everybody in this room, every day, every time we get into our cars, we are all under investigation at all times for all crimes. Then when a crime actually does occur, the police have a list of pre-investigated suspects. That's you, that's me, that's everybody in this room who gets in a car, that's everybody in this city. So today in Columbus, our constitutional rights, especially our Fourth Amendment rights, are flagrantly violated every single day as a matter of regular government policy.
So, that being said, there is a balance to this whole thing. We're not totally powerless in this situation. And I want you to consider something that may seem unrelated, but should encourage and empower you, your neighbors, and the masses. Interesting story coming out of this past week. We all know Harry Potter, and if you're unfamiliar, I feel bad for you. But we all got crushed by the loss of Dobby. Ironically, I was just in the Bahamas the other day, or the last weekend, and that last Harry Potter movie came on. My dad's unfamiliar with all this, and I was like, "Oh no, this is the worst part. This is the only part that makes us cry. It's Dobby." So I want to take that on balance, or really this whole consideration on balance with a story coming out of the UK this week. Harry Potter fans forced a 430 million euro sea cable, cable for internet and network communication. Harry Potter fans forced a 430 million euro sea cable to be relocated in order to avoid the quote-unquote grave of Dobby on Welsh Beach. The power cable linking the UK and Ireland now passes near Bronze Age human burial remains instead of the fictional character's gravesite, following complaints from fans. So when we care, we can make shit move. By the $430 million, we can move a whole cable and network system over a fictional character and pile of rocks, but then you sit here and feel powerless.
Dobby got a free gravesite.
Dobby will not be trampled by the data center.
Dobby is finally free.
This is my spot. This is Dobby's spot.
Mr. Harry Potter gave it to me.
So you gotta appreciate a story like that, where the people are like, it doesn't matter how much money's in this thing. This is the fictional character Dobby's spot, and it hurt my feelings. You know, I'm still sad. I'm still mourning the loss of said Dobby.
Yeah, we're putting in this high-speed cable internet line right through here. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's kind of where Dobby's buried. Huh?
Go around, reroute.
Oh, that's nice. You're going that way now.
Also, Dobby died right on the shoreline.
Yeah.
Right on the shoreline. So you're ruining beaches right on the shoreline for cable networks? Nah. Anywho, last comment of the flock dialogue needs to be King American Patriot, one we don't get to appreciate enough. I want to leave the last word to Edward Snowden. When the conversation quickly becomes, why do you need to fight for your right to privacy if you've got nothing to hide? Edward Snowden has a great reminder and retort to that dialogue.
People who say they don't care about privacy because they've got nothing to hide haven't really thought too deeply about the issues, because what they're really saying is that I don't care about this right. When you say I don't care about the right to privacy because I have nothing to hide, that's no different than saying I don't care about freedom of speech because I have nothing to say, or freedom of the press because I have nothing to write. There's a seriously concerning trend in many liberal and advanced democracies where we see a growing appetite in government to narrow the limits of our rights. A draft speech that was quoted recently by David Cameron after the election implied that simply because you're following the law, simply because you haven't done anything wrong, doesn't mean you'll be exempt from governmental interference in your private life. And this is an extraordinary departure from the traditional operation of liberal societies. The whole point of the law is that's the standard of behavior that you are held to. To go beyond that, and to say that the government's going to take a role not only in saying what is and is not lawful, but to actually say what is and is not proper behavior, reasonable thinking, an extreme idea, empowers the government in a way that I think without precedent in the kind of world that we grew up in. And we need to ask serious questions about, do we want to leave our children a less free world than the one that we ourselves inherited?
Well said, Edward. Well said. Well said, Edward. Spot on. And for that, we pivot. You know, there is a reoccurring segment here on the Rethink Tank that now in the heart of August, I definitely thought we'd have concluded by now. And yet it continues to permeate. With that, let me welcome in a consistent segment of the show, one that I find to be a favorite, a question we ask each week. Where in the world is Mitch McConnell?
Around the world to a secret destination. Where in the world is
Mitch McConnell.
It's a good question. I'd love to know where this dang guy is, because you know he's alive and you know he's representing you Kentuckians his doggone best. Speaking of doggone, I think we need to get some insight on this whole situation, and we're going to hear from Tim Burchett. But before we get to Tim, this is peculiar. This is news segment coming out of the week. A cleaning aide gets caught by TMZ at Washington, D.C., going into Mitch McConnell's house. She's there to begin her new job as a cleaning aide for Mitch McConnell's residence. I want you to take note in one thing. Please take note of her naivete, her personality, her openness as she enters the building, and then how scared, reserved, and hauling ass she is leaving the building. But nothing happened inside. She wasn't faced with a couple guys in suits with a message for her. I don't know. Maybe I'm just reading in things. I'm a little cuckoo. What do you think?
Are you a friend of the family? Huh? Are you a friend of the family?
No, I am a
home care. Home caregiver.
Home
Okay.
caregiver.
Have you been here before?
No, this is my first time.
All right.
I cannot.
It's a woman doing her job.
I think so.
What am I
She
walking
will stay
into?
overnight?
Innocent.
Eyes wide shut. What am I walking
So you
into?
stay from now on?
Huh?
You stay from now on?
Yeah, I stay for the night.
Just for tonight?
She's a much calmer person than me.
Gotcha.
I would have told her to piss off by now.
And look at how calm she is, kind of.
I like the third question. You buzz off.
Clearly, she doesn't know the gravity of what's going. Like, she has no idea what she's walking into.
Hi, man. How's Mr. McConnell doing? Does he seem like he's in good
We'll
health?
get that difference.
Literally.
Car waiting for her.
Oh, yeah, car waiting for her.
Running. Hightailing it. I'd be curious to know what was said in that room.
You know what's funny is immediately after they have that whole discussion with her inside, she walks out the door. So what happened? He's dead.
And then her Rode microphone pops. She's like, oh my God, another one. Anywho, somebody that's been carrying the whole story this entire period, leading journalist Desiree Townsend takes a sit down with Tim Burchett, and Tim Burchett draws the line in the sand clearly.
How likely is it that we may eventually see an amendment to the Constitution for an incapacitation clause?
I think it needs to happen yesterday. It's pathetic. We've had it. We had a lady in the House that basically her staff members are running her office, and she was in a memory loss unit down in Texas. How many times has it gone on before? We just don't even know. And now with the advent of the citizens reporters and folks like yourself who get out
how
there.
it's reported. Like those staffers are going to do what they can to protect these people, like they are now. Like so, him saying that, oh, it's happened before. Okay, how like you're making an incapacitation clause? Great. How do you enforce it?
Yeah, how do you measure
In-person
incapacitation?
check-ins every X amount of time for every serving person. That'd be a good start.
Yes, that would have to be the measure. Is you cannot go
proxy vote.
Yeah, no, you cannot go. You cannot hide from the public eye for over 4 weeks.
My opinion would be you can't miss more than X amount of votes,
Yes.
or you can't have more than X amount of proxy votes in any given time without showing up in person.
Well said.
My thing always with Tim Burchett, I do appreciate him. Do something.
Yeah.
Do if I have to hear this Southern accent guy one more time say it should have happened yesterday, should have happened 3 weeks ago.
But then does nothing about it. But then
dude.
continues to lick Trump's boot. Then it's like, yeah, dude, you're all talk.
Yes,
I do agree. That's a fair
He's not
point.
saying bad things, but we've already poked holes in it. Just our random thought here. We've already poked. How are you going to enforce it? What's it going to be? You know, it's like you could say these things, but you got to enforce it.
You could quite literally have another segment. Tim Burchett saying something needs to be done that he didn't get done. You could do it for any politician.
Where in
but
the
it's
world
it's crazy.
is name the politician?
It's crazy how many times you put him on where he says something we all agree with. We're all like, yes, that's great. Doesn't happen.
And he doesn't do anything about
He
it.
doesn't do anything about it.
Right.
And then he licks Trump's boot.
Yep.
And I'm just like, all right. Like, I want to respect the guy. I want to respect the guy because, like most politicians, when they say things I agree with, I want to respect them. When you don't get anything done, why should I? Why should I? He's just another guy talking. He right there to me is another Trojan horse waiting.
Yes.
He to
Great
me
point.
is another Trojan horse waiting. And after Trump, I'm not falling for it, dude. Get it done or shut up.
And here's the sad part. I love your point. I love it because it hasn't been said on the show yet, and I think it's dead nuts accurate. The sad part is he only becomes a part of the rethink tank dialogue because he is a Trojan horse. He is a controlled opposition that says what we want to hear but does nothing. And yet, who else am I going to bring on the show is like somebody reflecting some logic. He says the logic does idiocracy, but at least I can pull his clip and play some logic. But you're right. And I sit here, what made me make this point is I'm sitting here going, why is it that he's the only, because who else are you going to show?
Right.
AOC, as she's popping shots in her belly? Like, well, you know, so I want to finish this clip, but I also want to take on balance. I do want to circle back to your point. I'm going to finish this clip, but I want to circle back to your point about Tim Burchett.
Get the scoop faster than the big three used to. Who knows? I think it needs to happen yesterday, though. I really do. I don't know what the model is or the criteria, but we need to have it done immediately. America's sick of this stuff. Reagan said it best. He said, I don't know, we need term limits on elected officials. We need it on staff members because they're the ones profiting and running these committees, and they run these big offices.
So again, Will, kind of doubling back to your point, it is funny to have that on balance with who we have such a small pool of people we can reference that are supposedly quote unquote representing us. And somebody that I find, referenced on our show plenty is someone like Lauren Boebert. Yep. So here's Representative Lauren Boebert and how she took headlines today, where Lauren Boebert, who was just on her show like 2 weeks ago, supporting our position on questioning Mitch McConnell. She supports us when she comes after the Epstein class, when she goes after Fauci and the CDC bullshit. But then I'm supposed to throw my head in the sand and ignore that Representative Lauren Boebert's son was arrested last week on 3 felony charges related to sexual exploitation of children. Court records show. And this is all alleged. Court records indicate Tyler Boebert, 21, was arrested on suspicion of 5 felonies related to an alleged incident in early 2024 when Boebert was 18. His charges include sexual exploitation of a child and child exploitation with the intent to deal in or sell or distribute any sexual exploitive material, as well as third charge that relates to videotaped material, according to the Denver Post.
That last part changes it, the videotaped material, because it's like,
oh yeah, this makes Hunter Biden look like a walk through the park.
Yep.
Give him a crack pipe. Dang, who would have thought that was the good guy?
Yeah.
Who would have thought that was? Neither of those
of the politicians' kids. Who would have thought we'd be like, shit, I wish we had Hunter Biden in the dialogue.
Where is that laptop?
Give me some meth with hookers of age.
Yeah. Looks like a good time.
Here, this looks like a bad time.
That looks like.
So here I am caught with my finger in the trap because you find people to represent you and they're the closest to you, but they're not entirely a reflection of your will. And it's almost like all of them are living in this world of the dark arts. Like they're all, and it's almost like that's a prerequisite, a prerequisite to play in the game. So I agree with your position. Tim Burchett, I'm done listening to you until you put up or shut up. And at the same time, I keep him on balance with the handful of few that we can actually bring into the conversation. And we're going to talk about Howley here in a little bit, but
it was 2 months ago. He was talking about, the alien things that's coming out. It's been 2 months. No one's talking about it, man.
Well, because at that point, I needed you to stop. My boss, Donald Trump, needed you to stop talking about the Epstein files. So, I said that because it would catch your attention, and now you forgot. I guarantee if Will didn't bring it up, you wouldn't even have remembered that Burchett was pushing that, and that was a part of the zeitgeist.
And he said it was coming out yesterday.
Yes.
And I'm like, yeah, whatever, dude. Whatever. You're just another one.
Once again, yesterday, like you said, should have been done.
Everything should have happened yesterday. I must have missed it in the news.
Right. And yet today we're still cooked.
Yep.
So strong point. Keep, somebody that another political villain that at least, some of the episodes that you had missed kind of coattailed the conversations of Mitch McConnell because we're talking political villains. We also want to raise attention to coming out of this week. Lindsey Graham got his flowers. There was an honorary nomination for, let's see it here, the reveal.
With a shared vision for the future and deep respect for our past, together, let us mark this new beginning in 3, 2, 1.
Here we are with the U.S. Air Force being named Joint Base Lindsey Graham. Joint Base because it's shared with the good guys. God chose them. But, you know, you want to gloss over this.
This concludes our.
However, Thomas Massey had the perfect comment about this. In less than 2 years, MAGA went from no new wars to idolizing a senator who never saw a war he didn't like. Trump's words himself. Trump at Lindsey Graham's ceremony of memoriam says, yeah, that guy never saw a war he didn't like. I think this is such a poetic sentence. Yep. Using the new MAGA's words to hang what MAGA claimed they wanted to be. Yep. And here we are idolizing a man who literally salivated over war during the administration of no new wars. I think it defines it. It perfectly displays itself. But if we want to talk about Trump idiocracy and the clownery that we're forced to deal with, dude, do I have some funny things for you. First off, Trump's a villain. He's a POS. Yep. We already know that.
Trojan horse.
Do you know what he did this week?
No.
He created a program where high rollers, not your stupid ass, because do you not realize we're making money off of your back? Yeah. I'm not going to bring you in on the money-making scheme because I need somebody to make money off of. Right. For $100,000, you can become a subscriber into this program where people are noticing with Kalshi, somebody's got some insider knowledge. For $100,000, you can be one of those people and make your money back. Kick it to Barron, the advertisement coming for the new Trump program.
For years, the market rewarded those who knew things first. They called it illegal. Not anymore. Introducing Truth API. Tariffs at 2 a.m., you're already short. A pardon for a major shareholder, you bought at the open. Restarting the Iran war, you'll know first. Truth API. It's not insider trading when the insider sells you the feed. Just $100,000 a month, which, let's be honest, you'll make back by Tuesday. Truth API. It's fucked up, but real. Not available to
It's fucked up, but real.
He's honest.
Dude, I love the internet. Oh, yeah. Like, that AI video is so mint.
That looked like 90s Wolf of Wall Street. Like, that's what you would see Jordan Belfort recording.
For $100,000, you can be inside the trading.
What's crazy is I have no idea what his voice actually sounds like, so it might as well be that.
Yeah, no, hey, you can make it anything you want. It would have was Morgan Freeman. $100,000.
That would have been better.
Oh, it would have been magnificent.
So great.
That would have been great. Speaking of Trump idiocracy, it could just be a conspiracy theory.
No, never on this show.
Never on this show. But whether it's just, crazy delusion or true accuracy, this clip is absolutely hilarious. Of course, Trump doesn't hang around with any of those uggos. So, of course, there's this hottie that stands right behind him. They're calling her his zapper. She's the Trump zapper. She holds her hand over her belly in the most awkward way. It's awkward. Doesn't seem natural. Soldiers don't even really stand like this naturally for the whole period. It is funny, however, every time sleepy Trump Biden starts to doze off, she nudges her belly and that bitch gets zapped. I want you to watch this. It could be a conspiracy theory, but it also could be conspiracy reality, which is either way, this video is hilarious. So I want to get your thoughts. Is this Trump's zapper?
More than a year ago, where we funded dozen and more
She's a baddie.
Major research teams to answer the question of what is the cause of autism.
Can barely stay awake like a baby trying to stay awake. It's coming. I just
more than a year ago.
I don't know if it's true or not, but I believe it's true.
And more.
And he's falling asleep. Zap him.
To answer the
Dude, he's got the same mug on the whole time.
It's a complicated biological phenomenon. It's not going to be a simple answer.
Dude,
it will have
looks like a sleepy friend of ours after a few drinks.
I'll be a zapper, dude.
Oh my god!
How do
Does he not? Does he not?
Oh,
when he makes
dead
that
nuts.
face?
Oh, nailed it! Nailed it!
How do I become his zapper?
Yeah.
So we just got three or four final clips here. We're just kind of wrapping things up. We haven't talked about Tyler Robinson in forever. One little update that's kind of shaken up the internet for at least a little while now. It started 2 days ago or a day ago. I still can't figure out where everybody's watching this shit live. Like, it doesn't exist. However, if you're a streamer or you're a high-profile content creator, somehow you're getting to watch the live feeds out of the courtroom. So here's the Tyler Robinson situation that's come about. Candace Owens is making waves over showing the raw picture or video. If you're able to see the screen right now, the bottom frame is what the FBI is providing. The upper frame is what the raw footage Candace released was. And so the claim that Candace is taking is that the FBI has altered the footage, one, to make it harder to see. I mean, it's got a filter. It's hard to, it's a video of a video that we knew. We reported that weeks
like
ago.
A fish island almost.
Right. And the biggest piece, please draw your attention to the nose of the Jeep and the nose of the Nissan, especially in the lower picture, then put it on balance with the upper picture. You can see how no Nissan has a stubby front like that. Yeah. So what they did was compress the image to make the person look taller and leaner, because Tyler Robinson is a super lean cat, whereas the dog on front up top, clearly a yoked fed.
Yeah.
Like, his shoulder width is twice the size of what Tyler Robinson's would. And, all the paid content creators are saying, that's AI enhanced. It's all bullshit by Candace. But I'm sorry, the hood of the Nissan says it all for me. Like, one looks like a natural car, and the other one looks like, you said, a fisheye, some sort of compressed image.
They could have maybe gotten away with the Jeep. Maybe.
And even, Doug, wouldn't you agree? Even that looks stubby.
Oh, it looks odd, but you know what? First thought, Jeep, I'm going to go, okay,
right.
Because
they
it's
are.
Flat
and right.
Boom, exactly. But the Nissan next, you nailed it. That's the one
the
that really
Nissan
makes
shows the line of cars
also,
are all
take a look
chode-like.
at that white SUV next to the Nissan, how boxy at the top, the bottom image, or not boxy, how Beetle-like. Volkswagen Beetle looking that thing. That's not a normal looking car. They don't look like that.
Right. And I want to piggyback off that even further. Look at the modern white Charger, the car up above the Nissan. Look at the distance between the tire frame in the front of the car on the bottom image and then the top. I mean, the top is literally 2 to 3 times longer. And naturally looking, how do you fit an engine in the distance between that tire and the front of the nose in the bottom picture?
Easy. It's electric.
Yeah. Yeah. You've not unofficially, Dodge doesn't even know you've made the Charger an electric vehicle. So I just
solved all their problems without them knowing.
Yeah, right. Literally. So just kind of watching this play out in
and
real
do you believe
time.
you recognize who that person is?
Yes.
Who is that?
I believe that's Tyler Robinson.
And do you believe you recognize who that person is?
Yes.
Who is that?
I believe that's Tyler Robinson.
Dude, I'm sorry, but this then compared, I believe it's Tyler. I mean, that makes it look like a totally different person.
I couldn't tell you who that was, even if it was you.
Right.
I
Great
wouldn't be
point.
able to tell that was you.
Total
because
lie.
that's going to make you look taller and skinnier than you are.
Right.
Like, you want to...
I need that
you
frame.
think you're telling me that's my friend I've known for years? I'm not sure.
Right. Well, keeping it, because I want to get my poor friends out of here. Today's been a long one, but we're talking about the success of government, and they're all good guys with your best interests in hand. It's almost like Doge tried this and failed it, but here's Rand Paul. He's going to Fort Knox to bring you answers.
We've come to see the gold. Our country has about 147 million ounces of gold, and about half of it is stored in. We're going to be going deep underground to see the gold, But more importantly,
For
we're going to be
fire alarm.
talking today about what happened to our dollar when we separated from gold in 1971. Over 85% of the value of the dollar has been lost since we delinked from gold.
Doing the Rand Paul thing where he just starts
The
talking
media now
about it without
calls this
actually showing it.
affordability.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, good point. I'm not going to let him ramble.
Yeah.
Do you want to know what came of this?
Nothing.
Nothing. Oh, my God. It's almost like that's how this shit
Unless
works.
he was going to go inside, that video is pointless.
You got it, Doug. It's all just a political charade, and we're just dancing along.
It's a Tim Burchett thing.
Yes.
I like Rand Paul. I like his dad.
Well, I don't. He voted to combine our military with Israel. So, and that's one thing I'm never forgetting.
And again, Trojan horse.
Trojan
He gets
horse.
stuff done. Like he's always been like that my whole life, as long as I've known about him.
They'll do it all for the dollar.
I love explaining everything and why it's bad.
Right.
I love going into detail about why you shouldn't like it either. And I'll agree. And then he won't like nothing with the Fort Knox and nothing.
That's all you got? No.
So
So
find out anything was there.
So speaking of Rand Paul, let's get to the final topic of the day. Last thing I want to touch upon before we close out today's episode. And, we've had 2 weeks in a row hounding Fauci and, Rand Paul's arch nemesis. Coming out of this week, it's pretty awesome. Rand Paul was able to compel Congress in a clear political divide vote, totally bipartisan vote, where there has been a contempt of Congress issued against Fauci for his 111 abstaining for, pleading of the fifth, abstaining from answering questions while he has immunity, but then also giving an opening statement. Also the controversy with his attorney trying to speak on his behalf. All that was able to bring a rise to a contempt charge, which exciting. However, as we all knew exactly as it happened, you even said it to me when it happened and I was getting excited. It's like, but they're still not going to do anything on the warrant. Like nothing. He's never going to see a concrete cage.
No.
It's just all political charade. So speaking of the political charade, I don't really care as long as that's the face I get out of Dr. Fauci.
Yeah.
New York Post caught Fauci's fed up wife flipping the bird as they're all kind of.
That makes it somewhat worth it.
It does. Look at that frown. And even the NIH director is flipping us off because the public's waking up. I mean, that's kind of sweet. But in the attempt of them trying to make this out to be a political witch hunt, it is awesome that Rand Paul responded with the release of these text messages, which are really hanging Dr. Fauci and his team. Oh, my God, showing how they knew that the second vaccine was going to create a severe uptick in miscarriages, and they knew about it, corresponded about it quite a bit, and lied to you about it.
So bad.
It's so bad.
Disgusting.
Well, and the more disgusting piece is how does your Democrat friends in your community march on ignorantly, not knowing about this or ignoring this?
Dude,
it's
they're
intentional.
Celebrating it. Did you see what happened in Boston?
Oh my God. Yeah.
I don't want to say the word on the show, but they basically allowed up to a full term, which is, and they were clapping.
Starts with an A. It's killing babies. They literally are allowing it up unalived up until full term, literally birth.
Yeah.
Up until the moment of birth, and you can make that decision. And
so those people that saw the text messages,
I'm sorry, like
right.
I'm not against what we're talking about, but at that point, like up until birth, give it up for adoption. I was adopted. Like there are people out there that would literally kill another human for a baby.
That's on balance with a room full of demonic smiles as they're grinning ear to ear.
Weird.
Oh, dude, it was gross. I mean, but you're seeing evil in its face, in its pure face. Like I'm looking evil in the face, and they're smiling, shit-eating grin for killing babies.
It comes out the same week these text messages get released. It's like, oh man, those people do not care.
Right,
They do not care at all.
I mean, up till birth is a whole different discussion.
We
That's
also
not even the normal discussion at that point.
Right. I agree. We also got to see this week the former director, but at the time director during the pandemic, director of the CDC, as he gets grilled and just flat out admits, yeah, we knew all this shit and, we just hid it.
Thank you, Chairman. For 2 years, myself and the other Republicans on this subcommittee connected the dots We exposed the evidence supporting our strong belief that COVID was developed and leaked from the Wuhan lab. And during those same 2 years, the same Democrats that sit on this committee, they only hindered, they obstructed, they refused to hold hearings and get to the truth. Now we see mounting evidence supporting the COVID-19 originated from the lab in Wuhan, China, run by the Communist Chinese Party. And this hearing is about getting to the truth. I thank the chairman for making this the very first hearing, because the American people who have seen just as many fellow Americans die from COVID, as nearly as many die from COVID, that died in every war since the American Revolution combined, deserve to know the truth. Dr. Redfield, you pointed to the lab leak theory even before we did. In mid-January of 2020, you expressed concerns to Dr. Fauci, to Jeremy Farrar of UK's Wellcome Trust, and to Dr. Tedros of World Health Organization that, quote, we had to take the lab leak hypothesis with extreme seriousness. And you urged Dr. Fauci to investigate both the lab and the natural hypotheses. Shortly thereafter, on February 1st, Farrar convened a meeting of a group of 11 top scientists across 5 time zones and asked Dr. Fauci to join, and he wrote, quote, my preference is to keep this group really tight. Obviously, ask everyone to treat in total confidence, unquote. Dr. Redfield, you were excluded from this call, but up until then, you had been on every single, you were included in every other conversation. What changed? Why do you think that you were excluded from these conversations?
Thank you very much. I think just to emphasize, in early to mid-January, I did have multiple calls with Fauci, Farrar, and Tedros about how important I thought it was that science get engaged in aggressively pursuing both hypotheses. I also expressed, as a clinical virologist, that I felt it was not scientifically plausible that this virus went from a bat to humans and became one of the most infectious viruses.
That is so untrue.
All viruses are not the same. So when you look at...
He just said, as the director of the CDC, I held the position that I really didn't think this came from a bat. That came from no source. That was ridiculed, but is now the reality of our existence.
Coronaviruses, for SARS and MERS, for example, when they entered the human species, which they did via an intermediate, they never learned how to go human to human. Even to this day, they don't know how to go human to human. So you can't equate Ebola with a coronavirus.
Now, why do you think you were excluded from those calls?
Because it was told to me that they wanted a single narrative and that I obviously had a different point of view.
Okay. In emails following the conference call, 4 of the 11 scientists told Fauci that they all found the genetic sequence inconsistent with expectations from evolutionary theory, basically what you're saying. However, just 3 days later, these 4 scientists had drafted a paper arguing the exact opposite, and that's now the infamous proximal origin of SARS-CoV-2. Our investigations show that this paper was prompted by Dr. Fauci, among others, with a goal to disprove the lab leak theory. What is the likelihood that these scientists came across additional information just 3 days after making these statements to conclude with such certainty that COVID-19 came from nature instead of the lab leak that they thought it was 3 days earlier?
Yeah, I think it's unfortunate. Again, I've said this before, that this whole approach that was taken on February 1st, and subsequently in the month of February, if you really want to be truthful, it's antithetical to science.
Thank you.
Science has debate, and they squashed any debate.
Thank you. Given what we know now and looking at all the conversations in February of 2020 and before the release of the paper, do you think that Dr. Fauci used this paper to hide the gain-of-function research created this virus?
I can't talk about Fauci's motivation.
Okay.
Do you think that the paper does hide the truth?
I think it's an inaccurate paper that basically was part of a narrative that they were creating.
Expert testimony, trust the science.
The pandemic did not start in January at the seafood market. We now know there was infections all the way back into September. This was a narrative that was decided that they were going to say this came from the wet market, and they were going to do everything they could to support it, to negate any discussion about the possibility that this came from a laboratory.
I got 20 seconds left. Dr. Fauci was affirmatively told in an email that NIAID had a monetary relationship with the Wuhan Institute through EcoHealth Alliance. He was told this in January 27th of 2020. Do you think that Dr. Fauci intentionally lied under oath to Senator Paul when he vehemently denied NIH's funding of gain-of-function research?
I think there's no doubt that NIH was funding gain-of-function research.
Is it likely that American
That is insane. Like, where is the justice? This could be right in your face. They could spew it, like, just, yeah, broadcast to the public. It was a lie. We killed your grandma and we controlled your liberty. And all I got for you is that I'm sorry. But it is interesting that we're getting all of this. Yeah, we're never going to get the justice. It should be paired with it. However, we are getting all the vindication, truth, and light at a very peculiar time. And somebody that kind of wears the same shiny metallic hat that I do, but we don't get to integrate into the show enough, had the perfect reminder of like why you should kind of have a grain of salt with this new resurgence of COVID conversation.
Senator John Hawley. I loved this guy. If I was you, I'd go check to see who funds him. It's a show, people. And you know what the show is? Distraction. Let me show you how the distraction works with Senator Hawley. Send out Fauci. And they send him out to make him look like a clown. If you ask me, Fauci's just the guy who gets whacked. He's the fall guy. I don't even think he exists anymore. I'm going to say that was an actor. Forget going, hey, man, you guys owe us an apology. The snakes showed themselves. Hey, forget your freedom. Hey, you gotta get back. Your presidents said that. Your senators said that. Your corporations said that. Your baseball owners said that. Your basketball owners said that. Your NFL owners said that. They all said that. The medical industry said that. They all said that. They are all part of the system.
And he goes on. There's another clip that I didn't want to just exhaust us with, but he continues to go on about, let's acknowledge where the conversation was going.
Yeah.
You were waking up to a foreign asset that owns us. And so we needed to make some concessions on another dialogue that everybody loves getting themselves distracted and talking about. So look back over here at Dr. Fauci. So again, it's important to remember, like, you know, why are you, just like the UFOs, you pointed about Tim Burchett, we got an acknowledgement of it, but nothing ever came of it because we wanted you to stop going to the DOJ website and going through the Epstein files. And it's all still there, but we're all bored with it. And we've all moved on to the next thing because we've got the attention span of a hamster. So last thing of the day, we close it all out. Cheers. Final thoughts. Let's end this episode on a little melody and a victory lap by the one and only friend of the show, Byron the Magnificent.
Everybody who acted like I was uneducated for not taking the vax needs to A, shut the fuck up, and B, kiss my ass. I never gonna listen to you. You should be too embarrassed to show your face around here, bitch. Yeah, you looking like a deer in the headlights when I show you the headlines. What you did was dumb. You bragged about your education. Now look at you, so misled. Not a lot going on in your head. People ended up dead from taking the advice you gave. Who's the grandma killer now? How does that taste? It tastes like what you deserve. Bitch, I can't believe you had the nerve.
you gotta hand it to him,
great,
dude. This guy is so talented. So cheers to everybody that had joined us. I want to thank everybody that went into the comments, even CB33 and everybody else. So do we got Waylon Swango and Case Mills and all the rest. The whole purpose of the live show is to get you involved. So we appreciate everybody that goes into the comments. We want you to break us out of our echo chambers and a little aspect or extra dynamic to the dialogue and enhance the perspective. If we made you laugh, if we made you think, the best thing you do to support this show is hit that like button. If you enjoyed it, then someone else you know will too. So please share us around because that's what helps us combat all these suppressive algorithms. But otherwise, we're here each week. So you want to make sure you hit that subscription and notification bell because you don't want to miss us every Tuesday. We're here. We also got some great content coming at you with the flagship podcast. And we also do our live show on Sundays on the Rethink Actions show where wake up, have a cup of coffee with us, and get a little break from the social and political chaos. If you want to find one central place where you can find all of that, including the Neuro Gym, a free social media alternative where you can correspond directly with us and the community, find it all at our website at www.rethinktankpodcast.com. But otherwise, guys, we appreciate you joining us, and we'll catch you next week. Peace.